him until I can see him.
All set? All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen for May 1st, 2023. We started at 6:30 with a non-public with a exit interview, and then we had another for interview of a potential police officer with the chief, which brings us to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll entertain public comment with a reminder it's 5-minute. Okay. And you talk fast, I know that, so.
And I've practiced this several times, and it's 5 minutes and about 3 seconds, so.
Okay.
33 years ago, I was an ROTC cadet attending field training at Plattsburgh Air Force Base. One thing I remember was an ethical test that asked us if we would bend to the rules. The trick is that each question was followed by another where the stakes were higher. But having already bent them once, you're almost trapped into bending them again. First, your friend needs to leave work early. Would you cover for him? Then, having covered for him, one now has to undo one small white lie, or just to agree to a second ethical lapse, a little bit bigger than the first. And so forth, until in the final step, an airplane is blown up, and the cadets taking the tester to blame, because through a long series of steps, they ended up faking inspection reports. I come before the BOS today to ask this body to consider the lesson of that test. Legal and ethical mistakes have been made in this town by others. The best time to correct those would have been at the time, but the second best time is today. Specifically, I'm asking the BOS to inform the town's attorney that she is engaged in defense of a lawsuit that the BOS has never legally authorized, and ask her to withdraw from it until and unless legally authorized. Now the backstory. On 6 October 2018, Chip Meany illegally issued a building permit that violated town zoning codes. On 12 October 2018, Chip doubled down, saying in writing that he was allowed to make a judgment call and override the zoning code. On 24 October 2018, I sent a formal appeal. Chip said that my appeal didn't matter because his network would just issue a variance anyway. On 4 December 2018, in a ZBA meeting, then BOS member Jack Meany, a friend of the party at 271 Quaker Street, said that he personally wanted to see the barn go up. During this time, the property owner violated the cease and desist that the town had issued. The town has a mandatory process, but the building department refused to follow their own code. In December 2019, I filed suit. The town defended and lost. Who authorized the losing defense? Who authorized the expenditure of taxpayer dollars? Did Jack Meany recuse himself, or did he violate the ethics code that he had signed and vote? We have no idea, because this was all done in secrecy in violation of state law. On 1 December 2020, Jack Dearborn decided to delay a variance hearing. Only later did the explanation become clear. Jack had secretly coordinated with the planning board and was delaying the meeting to give the planning board time to change the zoning code. On 8 December 2020, the ZBA held a site visit. But Jack Dearborn refused to inspect 95% of the site because, in his own words, we want it, the barn, here. What I didn't know at the time was that Jack returned to the site 3 days later in an illegal secret coordination with one party to the dispute and other members of the ZBA. On 10 December 2020, the planning board voted to change the zoning code, a special change designed to benefit a friend of Jack Meany's. The town ethics code required that Jack disclose the conflict and recuse himself. Instead, he violated the ethics code and voted for the change. On 14 January 2021, Neil Kirk, on the planning board, having learned of the secret intent of the article, asked for reconsideration. There was a long, awkward silence, finally broken by a board member saying that they were all aware of that, as per discussion. There had been no public discussion, as you can see in the minutes. Any of that happened outside of formal meetings, in illegal secret coordination. At the same time, Kelly Dearborn Luce violated the town ethics code by contacting one side of the dispute by email saying simply, "Call me." There's an interesting detail about Security and Exchange Commission investigations. The email that says, "Call me," is the smoking gun which signals the beginning of illegal secret coordination. In this case, the attempt failed, secrecy failed, because the property owner at 271 Quaker Street called her, got the secret message, and then screwed up the conspiracy by responding to the initial email and referencing the discussion in writing. Those emails were initially illegally hidden by Naomi, but were eventually revealed. In February, March, and April of 2021, I asked Naomi multiple times for specific emails. Time and again, Naomi said that no such emails existed, she didn't have them. Let me be clear, Naomi was explicitly lying. She had the emails, and she was lying in secret coordination with Jack Dearborn. Proof is attached as in the appendix of this document, in writing. On 6 April 2021, the first attempt at the variance hearing was held on Zoom. Naomi violated the law by preventing supporters, including Martha Kalugian, Howard Kalugian, Michael Anthony O'Day, and State Rep. Leah Cushman, from joining the meeting. Naomi then violated the open meeting law by ejecting me from the meeting. On 4 May 2021, without the documents I needed, I headed into the second variance hearing where I was ambushed by Jack Dearborn. I'd requested ahead of time that Jack recuse himself as per the ethics code, but Jack refused to do so. Instead, he tried repeatedly to stop me from testifying, lied about various laws and Supreme Court precedent, and helped one party in the dispute. He was joined by Michael Meyer of the ZBA, who argued on the record that the ZBA was not bound by the New Hampshire Supreme Court precedent. In the end, the ZBA violated the law and granted the variance. Under threat of lawsuit, Naomi finally turned over public records, and we learned that A, Jack Dearborn, knowing that the variance applicant required a survey and yet did not have one, commissioned Bruce Fillmore of the Planning Board to create one for the benefit of the variance applicant, and may have used town funds to pay for it. As a side note, I asked the town if any other survey has ever been commissioned for one party in the dispute. Never before has this ever been done. Jack Dearborn had a second secret and illegal site visit on 11 December 2020, where he did, now that I wasn't present, exactly what he said in falsified minutes was impossible because of ice. He visited the entire lot, the four corners of the building lot, saw that other locations were possible, and took pictures documenting this. This is key because this would shoot down a variance. Naomi violated the state law on 3 May 2021 by explicitly lying to me in email, falsely saying, "Attached you will find all the Jack Dearborn emails I have." These documents, had I had them at the time that the variance hearing was held, would have made it extremely clear that Jack Dearborn was an interested party who had not just a thumb but all 5 fingers on the scale. At this point, I sued the town to overturn the illegally issued variance. For the second time, the BOS is somehow spending taxpayer money to defend, despite never having legally voted to do so.
Travis, you've reached your 5 minutes.
I'm going to read one more paragraph, and hold me out if you want. I mentioned earlier the ethical exercise at Plattsburgh Air Force Base. I'd like to return to that. Certain employees and members of various boards have broken laws and violated ethics code. That can't be undone. The only thing this BOS can control is how they vote today. I'm asking the BOS to inform the town's attorney that she's engaged in defense of a lawsuit that was never legally authorized, and ask her to withdraw from it until and unless legally authorized. Having done so, the BOS is free to consider this question again the ethical and legal way. It can go into a meeting, have a discussion, take minutes, and hold a vote, knowing that those minutes and those votes will eventually become public records, which taxpayers will review when deciding how to vote. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else for public comment?
Richard Brown, 37 George Moody Road. I'd really like to know when you're going to fix that duck pond up. You guys made a real mess down there now. It looks like a clam fat, not a pond. There were geese and stuff in there. What are you going to do?
I'd have to go to look at it. I don't know.
There ain't much to look at. I mean, they keep digging it down deeper and deeper. I mean, it's got to come to a stop. I'm going to DES tomorrow. I've already been there once. I mean, it's disgusting what you guys are doing to that pond. Trap the beavers out of there. That's all you got to do, instead of ripping the bank out every time. I mean, the thing's only about 2 feet deep now. I mean, I've been here 65 years. It's always been a pond. You know that, Sherry. You're on the Conservation Committee. Where's the Conservation Committee? They ain't done nothing about it.
I don't know that they're really aware of it.
Well, they ought to be looking.
This just
I mean,
happened in the last couple of weeks, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
I
last
think
two,
the Conservation Commission's is aware of it.
well, they're aware of it now, because I'm telling you. And then like last Tuesday, they had the water going across Duck Pond Road. They just let too much water out. If you worked where I work, and you see what's going on there, you just laugh. It's a waste of time, taxpayers' money. You got 2 guys down there in a backhoe. All you gotta do is just take a little of that dam out. You don't have to rip the whole thing out. I got one more comment. I don't, how many hours we got on that man lift down on River Road?
As far as what? To rent it?
Yeah,
I'm not exactly sure. It was a set fee.
yeah, how much is per month, right? Rent?
Week.
And it doesn't look like it's been used. So we're paying for a dead horse? All right, that's it.
Yes, sir.
My name's Craig Young. I live across from the property that Mr. Cochran was describing. Although I moved in after it was built, and I really don't have any problem with the building itself, and I consider Gil and Travis personal friends, but I think that, well, before I get going, I want to say before I moved here, I'm an attorney, and I was representing municipalities, schools, and counties, and I'm the kind of guy you drag into non-public meetings and discuss this kind of thing. And this is very disturbing, what's laid out in this document. And I think, these parties probably wouldn't be at each other's throat but for the actions of the town.
Dave Pratt, Winter Road. First, I'd just like to say that I support Mr. Cochran's request that the board should have a meeting and vote on this subject. Secondly, just like to respond to an email I got recently. On December 5th, 2022, I came before the Board of Selectmen to present my concerns regarding neighboring property and the roles that the town has played in the development of that issue. At the end of that presentation, I included 6 questions directed to the board and requested answers to those questions. On January 30th, I received notice from Mrs. Bolton that the request was forwarded to town council, who would in turn be responding to my questions. I, to this day, do not understand why this transfer of response took place. We did not invoke our lawyer in this. However, I was informed by my lawyer on 1/19, 11 days prior to Mrs. Bolton's notice, that he was informed by the town of Weare council that she would be preparing a response, though he was not given consent of the notice or the contents of the notice. Finally, February 9th, my wife and I received a letter of response. After reviewing and weighing the answers, we responded back to town council on April 2nd, on which you were all copied. This was after numerous attempts to contact Mrs. Bolton and receiving no response. In our response, I posed 5 questions in return to the answers received and asked for a response to one of the original questions left unanswered. I received an out-of-office email from Ms. Spector Morgan stating a return on April 18, 2023. After getting no response from anyone, I sent a follow-up email on April 26, 2023, on which you were all copied. The response to that email, again, on which you were all copied, was surprising at best, and is as follows. Mr. Pratt, the right to know law does not require me or the town to answer the questions you have posed, and therefore we decline to do so. I encourage you to speak with your attorney should you have any further concerns regarding this matter. Laura. As I do not feel my questions were unreasonable, I must admit that my wife and I are truly disheartened and disturbed that the Town of Weare elected Board of Selectmen and Town Administrator would agree to this course of action, and that you would have this level of contempt for town residents that are merely looking for answers. That's all.
Jackie Pratt, 51 Winter Road. I want to start off by saying I agree with Mr. Cochran. I would like for the Board of Selectmen to have a formal and legal vote on what he had said, and that town council should not be used for this purpose unless the vote is in agreement. I just want to elaborate a little bit on what my husband had said. I don't, for the life of me, understand why you could not answer a question when you decide to take it upon yourselves to consult our lawyer, who we pay. We pay for our lawyer, you don't. We had no idea he was involved. He had no idea he was involved. He reached out to me in an email. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, I don't know what they're referring to. A week later, I get an email from town administrator saying that it was turned to town council. Put the pieces together and we figured it out. So I guess who's paying that bill? And then you guys have the audacity to tell us that you don't have to answer the question on why he was notified without our permission or without our consent. He's on our retainer. We pay for the man. Why do we not have a right to know that? I don't understand how you guys cannot answer that question. I don't care if you want to answer the other ones, but you need to answer that one. What gives you the right to foot the bill? I mean, we have a bill now, and thank you. Thank all of you for that. And because it was copied to the Board of Selectmen, the town administrator, and town council, I assume you guys are all in agreement that we don't need to know. We don't need to know that you're just going to tack on our lawyer without our permission, without our consent, without our knowledge. Thank you.
Frank?
Thank you, Frank Campana. I'm a little bit behind in this public comment. On Monday, April 3rd, I tried the town administrator's phone. It was about 4 minutes before 9. I had a question to ask her, and I let it ring a few times. Never know how long to let it ring. But anyway, there was no answer. So, same day, about 11:15, tried the same phone number, had the same questions to ask, and I got a recording to leave, which I have gotten before, to leave a message, and I think it says she'll get back to me. So my short message was, Naomi, this is Frank. I think you have my phone number. If you kindly return my call. Well, I haven't heard back, okay? I'm really upset. Now, I don't know if it has to do with her pay fee, her increase in pay, that she's distanced herself from the population, or if it's in her job description that she's distanced herself from the population. And I know you don't like to answer questions, but I don't know where to go to get information. What I wanted to ask her is, when would be the appropriate time for me to request these several memorandums of understanding that the police department seems to be, throwing out there, after the fact, after the voting. Well, where do I go? Do I go to the road agent? Do I go to a selectman? Do I go to, I don't know where to go. I'm really at a loss. After being in town here for 50 years, I'm at a loss. When I follow the directions, all right, I'm away from my desk, I'm busy with somebody, leave a brief message. I did exactly that, and I haven't heard back. And one other example, during the wintertime, I did call, there were a lot of logging going on by my road, and trucks were going Klondike Street, and I did call Naomi. She's always seemed to have the answers, and I asked her if she knew where the logging was going on. I mean, it was truckload after truckload after truckload, and I was amazed. And so Naomi said, well, call downstairs and speak to whoever I have to speak to. She takes, she does the logging permits, I guess. So I found out that it was the logging operation by Perkins Pond. It was something done by the state. Well, I tried within a couple of days, I tried to get in touch with Naomi just to pass that information on to her. And same thing, never heard back. So where do I go? Can you answer that tonight to me? Where do I go to get answers? Like I say, I've never had an issue before. Naomi's been very respectful of me, been very, cognizant of, getting back to me. But I'm fed up.
James Englund. I too live on Quaker Street, and I can't say much more than other than I would respect and appreciate a legal vote, open vote, in order to fund the lawsuit. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, how are you? Paul Gannon, Flanders Memorial Road. To reiterate what Mr. Brown said, the beavers, Battle of the Beavers. I don't understand why the town, I don't know how much the town spends to reduce that beaver dam a few times a year. I see guys going down there. At least 2-3 times every year. Someone's in there tearing that beaver dam apart. I would think that it would be pretty advantageous to reach out to Fish and Game, see if Fish and Game has a list of trappers. Guys who trap are like guys who hunt. If a farmer comes up to you and says, hey, I got coyotes, you want to sit on my field and shoot them? Happy to do it, not going to charge you a thing. Guys who want to trap, they'd love to get the opportunity to trap those beavers. If we could trap them, maybe we'll save ourselves some money. I don't know if we thought about that. That's my position. With regard to this information from Travis, didn't expect to see it. I read it through it. Seems like where there's smoke, there's fire. I think that the town or the selectmen should vote, or should have a vote if we should accept, or if the town should pay for an attorney to deal with this issue. So dealing with attorneys or accepting money from the Southern New Hampshire Planning Association to do our master plan, the people need to vote on it. Shouldn't be decided by a committee. Thank you.
Brian Sullivan, 18 Perkins Pond. I'm here in support of Travis and what he said. I also want to remind the board of a landmark decision by the Supreme Court in 1964 It was the New York Times versus Sullivan. And in that decision, it said that it reaffirmed the First Amendment right of citizens to publicly pull out names of elected officials and give them their due course, in public, without any recourse of defamation. So, with that being said, Bolton, Dearborn, Fillmore, Meany, those names all have to, they all have to come to, they have to be put out in the light. And everything that Travis said here needs to be put out in the light. And honestly, it's as a taxpayer in this town, I'm appalled to read something like that this sort of family and friends, good old boy network is continuing in this town. It may have been fine maybe 50 years ago. That's not working today. No way. Not with the taxes that we pay? Absolutely not. So I would urge this board to give this man his due and the things that, that are required of this particular situation. And all of those people that I named are people that have to be brought to light. That's one. Thank you.
Good evening, Howard Kalugian. I'm on Colby Road. I'm a retired attorney, and I'm going to go before Brian Sullivan next time. He's very good. I want to also express my support for Travis Cochran and ask that this board confirm that participating in this lawsuit is something that this board, not the last board, this board chooses to do. As a retired attorney, I come to imagine representing a client who didn't want to be represented in the case. You have to specifically decide if this is worth defending. You've lost once, you're going to lose again, and you're spending our money. I'd ask that you not do that. Or if you do that intentionally with a vote. So I support Travis's motion. Thank you.
Anybody else?
John Morton, Eastman Way. I absolutely support what Travis has put together here, and I've personally witnessed and experienced some interesting things in town here. And I have a number of people that are interested in moving the election, totally separate subject, I understand, but to May 7th, which is the alternate date of elections. I spoke with Cordell Johnson, who's a town moderator in Henniker, because we share a school district. We have to work together and either keep it the same day we have it now. It's going to snow next March. I think everybody can imagine that that's most likely going to happen, just like it snowed last year and the year before, and the year 17 or 18 when 70 towns canceled the election like a bunch of babies here in New England. It snows, okay? So we didn't cancel. Henniker didn't cancel. There was a little bit of feedback on that. There was towns that did cancel, or yeah, they canceled, and there was feedback on that. There was people that were upset about that. So you can't win either way. But if we move it to May 7th, it would be closer to the school budget as well. So there's a couple good reasons for that. So I'm asking the board to consider moving the election going forward to May 7th. Cordell Johnson agrees with this, and he's going to speak with his board in Henniker as well. And just to give you background, I'm new at this role. I've only been doing this for a little over a year. Cordell worked as a legal counsel for the New Hampshire Municipal Association, who oversees elections for the state, for 18 years. So he's pretty much experienced in what he's talking about, and he says it's a very good idea that we move it to May 7th, and then we don't run into these issues where, we find out we don't have enough plow drivers in town, so we can't get people to the polls, and then we find out we don't have a school generator working. And another thing, again, we could add that to this of things that are being hidden. Or, I got an idea, why don't we approve the town drone for the police department, and then they can film all the meetings?
Hi, my name is Mike Hillers. I live on Colby Road. I'm here in support of Travis and the stuff that's going on there. I don't know all the details of it, but I moved here for transparent small-town government, and I think a vote on this would be reassure me. Thanks.
Peter Westfall, 1 Skeeto Road. Again, in support of Travis's move for a vote. Just seems like general good practice to get things on the record, especially for moderately large to large expenditures such as legal fees.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on.
Came for me, thank you very much. You can sit here, but.
Don't have to. All right, move on to Eagle Scout Project, John Mull.
Chris, is he out there? Is John out there?
John out there?
Awesome, pretty happy. Eagle Scout out here? I really appreciate it. You're on the Skeeto, that's the new development? Cool. Are you new to town or just? I've been here for over a year. Okay, cool, welcome.
You take the, okay.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Thank you.
My name is John Mole. I am working for my Eagle Scout, and my project for Eagle Scout is the Chase Park Bench Project. The second page, my project statement. My project plan is to build at least 10 benches at Chase Park so people will be able to sit and enjoy the park. Here's some pictures of the bench that will be built. The plans for the bench. I plan to start building the benches in late to early summer, or spring to early summer. Benches will be built off-site. Once all benches are built, we will deliver and place them around the park. Park requested that they be secured to the ground. They will be secured by stakes and wire. Benches will be built out of ground contact pressure-treated lumber. Since benches are already treated with weather shield, they will not need to be painted. These will be less maintenance for the town and will keep benches looking good. Additional information. The benches will be no cost to the town. Fundraising will come from fundraisers such as car washes and raffles. Benches should be done by early summer. Benches will be built by scouts, friends, and other volunteers. Thanks. Any questions?
So, I see the plans, the rough sizes and stuff. What are you gonna use to hold these together?
Screws and some 2-inch screws.
Okay, 2-inch screws, okay.
Yep.
Board have any questions?
What made you decide to do this project?
Well, I noticed that when I went to the park, there were no other seats other than big picnic tables, and those you can't really lean back and be comfortable on. So I wanted to make something that was comfortable to sit on, and there were multiple around the park, and they're small and you can move them where you want.
Have you already presented to Park?
Yes.
Did Park approve?
Yes, he met with us in January.
Okay. Anybody else?
So you said you'd be able to move them around and they'd be secured. So
You can take them out.
With a
and
little bit of effort,
yeah,
probably.
so would
we'll-
Park
yeah.
have what they need to be able to move them around?
Yes, because they're going to be staked in to the ground, so you can take them out and move them.
And attached but storable in the winter.
Yeah.
Good.
You're gonna have an adult help you with this?
Yes.
Do we have room to store 'em?
Yeah, with the picnic tables.
I don't have any problem with it. Nope.
Nope.
And you'll just coordinate with Park to where they're gonna be put and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that need a motion? Probably needs a motion, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna move that we accept the proposal from John Moll for the Chase Park Bench Project for the amount of 10 benches to be placed at Chase Park under the strict authority of the Park Committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Move second, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'll hold on if you're okay with it. Thank you. All right. Moving on to department head committee items. All right, recognize Steve Roberts. He's out there.
Steve. Steve and the other Chris. There's one over here. This room. Yeah. There's room up here.
Oh, it's nice and cool in this one.
It's nice and cool in here. I don't know what he's doing. Mark?
Steve, you're up.
Good evening. We're here tonight to introduce you to our interim fire chief. As you know, the Board of Fire Wards has been doing a search for a new fire chief. We had put out an ad and then didn't receive a response that we were looking for. We changed in our format and we hired MRI to do a search for us and do the initial process. And so they did that, and they did the initial interview selection process, and then they brought the 3 top candidates to the board. And so the board did an interview, and we had a candidate that came out on top. That was Captain Rourke. But due to divisions that were occurring on the board, the MRI people suggested that we take a path of going with the interim chief for 6 months, and so that we could do some things that we needed to do in the department, and one of those is develop a strategic plan, et cetera. And so we ended up hiring interim chief for 6 months with the marching orders of doing that with a strategic plan, and also mentoring Captain Rourke to prepare him for that position. So I'd like to introduce you now to our interim chief, Christopher J. Olson, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you for, Steve, the fire wards have been wonderful, and it's good to see the board here, and I know this person right here, he's on the fire department the other day, so it's good to see you on Wednesday. So my name is Christopher Joseph Olson. I come from Cape Cod originally. My whole career was started out as a wonderful police officer. Way to go, guys. Started there for 3 years and then moved over to the fire department, and my whole career has been with the fire department since. After 32 and a half years of public service, I retired. And from there, I was also a paramedic for 27 years and scuba diver from NAUI for instructor and martial artist, a whole bunch of other things. But I moved up here to get closer to my grandkids in Rochester, New Hampshire, and I work for a company called MRI, and I actually subcontract. I have my own business doing this, and it's mostly like leadership decision-making skills, problem-solving skills, and communication skills and leadership skills. So it's really fun to get into these different fire departments. Since I've been retired, I've been through 9, 10, this is my 10th different department, as an interim fire chief as well as a mentor. And, you know, I'm just here, and many departments I've been to for doing captain's exams, deputy chief's exams, fire chief exams. So it's a lot of different things that I do. But I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to come into your home. What a beautiful town it is. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first day, so I'm really excited. And I always am very excited about what I do. So this is the greatest job in the world. So it's just wonderful. And so we're going to push that on to our firefighters, and they're going to do a great job and work with the captain and get everybody where they need to be. So pretty excited about that. You have any questions for me? I'm ready to go. Let's do it. I didn't have my coffee yet.
I'm still trying to process Wednesday night.
Yeah, Wednesday night? Oh,
I'm
good.
still trying to process that, yeah.
Lot of
A lot of
information.
information that night.
Yes, yes. You should have been there today. Yeah, my first day. Any questions at all? Any questions from the board at all? You know, the firehouse is always open, you know that. I'm sure the fire wards wouldn't mind at all, you folks coming into the house. It's always open, we always have coffee available, and my office is always open, so please, come over, say hello. You know, we have wonderful firefighters. I know this was the first day, but I've met them a couple of times now, and I'm pretty excited to work with the crew here. So this is great. Look forward to it.
One question.
Yes.
Not to be out of line. What is your goal when 5.5 months rolls around? Where do you envision the fire department? Where do you envision Captain Rourke at that point in time?
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of work to be done before that happens. So right now I'm just processing each shift. Today was the first shift, and I'll have 3 more shifts after that. After, in 5 months, I see, you know, a strategic plan for sure developed. I'm already started on it already, just getting all the information for the strategic plan. But also, I envision the fire department really to be the heart of this community, and it should be. You know, it always has been in every community that I've been involved in, at least. And it's just a welcoming committee. So I want to open that up as much as we can to the town and to the townspeople, because it's their fire department, you know. Also, I envision, you know, if I have a crystal ball, and you know how those work sometimes, that the captain and I will work together diligently to get him where he needs to be, and I see him taking the role as fire chief. If, you know, down the road, if things change, then I will communicate that accordingly. But that's important. Communications is paramount, so you're going to see a lot of communications from at least my office to our fire department to the town, because we just need to be out there. I mean, you folks pay for us to be there, and we're going to, you know, we want to make sure that we have a solid fire department. So really, I'm going to look at the strategic plan and make sure that this department goes forward. I'm going to look at movement in the ranks in file, and I'd like to see the call department grow. We have minimal amount of call members, as you know. You know, it's hard to run a fire department with 7 call members, so I'd like to see that develop. Also like to see the school down the road. I'd like to really jump into the school and see if we can use their program. And see what they have actually for a program. I know there was a young man doing scouting. I'd like to get an explorer post at the firehouse, or a venture post. So that would be really good for to get the fire department rolling, to get more people involved. Blood pressure clinics. I mean, there's so many things that we are going to do in the next 5 months, 5 to 6 months. And yeah, I only get faster and faster as I go. So we'll just move on.
You said this is your 10th department as interim. How many of those were in New Hampshire?
Let's see, there's 1, 2 so far. This is my 3rd in New Hampshire. They've been in Rhode Island, they've been in Massachusetts, they've been in Pennsylvania, and Vermont.
Okay. What got me thinking about it is you talked about communicating to us. There's a lot going on about how to communicate properly between department heads, the board, doing that above board. A lot of that coming from RSA 91A. So
correct.
Just want to make sure you're already aware of that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, everything, I got I actually do a lot of homework ahead of time.
Very good.
So I knew exactly how big your town was, I knew how many people were, I knew what kind of vehicles we had, I knew what kind of apparatus we had, I knew what kind of politics we had. That's my job. So that's what I certainly look at all that, and the RSAs are nothing different than the CMRs from Massachusetts, nothing, they're all the same, just different numbers, that's all. Yeah, so not to worry. But thank you for that. Send me in, Coach, I'm ready. I'm ready, let's go.
I'll stop by.
Oh, please, love it, love to. Love to have you there. Good?
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much, thank you again. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Mark, do you want to say anything? No? Okay.
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now.
All
I'll
right.
have a bunch to say, you won't be able to keep me quiet. Take this time to
Relax and,
relax on that.
okay, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Lee wants a picture.
Is our hair all done nicely?
I love the spot.
Which way, where's the flag?
You guys look like twins up there.
Yeah, twins, I know, you're right. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, thank you.
That's all I planned. You've been enough pictures of you guys, right? No. No. I don't think so. Do we have to? Oh, we don't have anything?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So, next one is the swearing in, recognized, nope. You want to do awards first, or?
Just him.
Okay. Just the guy with the out of color uniform?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to introduce Captain Vetter from the New Hampshire State Police, who has an award for Officer Valero. Captain Vetter?
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, as the chief said, we're here to recognize one of your officers for some exceptional work. My name is Chris Vetter. I work for the state police, and my current assignment is I'm in charge of the Office of Highway Safety. We deal with federal grants. We fund a whole bunch of different initiatives, enforcement, and anything to do with highway safety. We're looking to reduce crashes and eliminate fatalities. That's ultimately our goal. So, one of the things that we do, we fund our DWI initiatives. As you know or don't know, we have a drunk driving problem in this state. So we encourage police departments to take our funds to go out, remove impaired drivers. There's a lot of work that goes into that. At the end of the year, we solicit from the local and state police names of officers within their agencies that have done exceptional work in the areas of removing impaired drivers from the roadway. So that happened last year. We went through a whole host of names. There were many names that were submitted. Your police department submitted Officer Valaro's name, and at the end of the selection process, he was chosen as being one of the award winners. What I want to emphasize, this isn't always about who can remove the most impaired. It's not about numbers. Making a DWI arrest, there's a lot to it. And it starts with what happens on the roadside. And then it goes into being competent in doing the investigation. It's competency in writing a police report. It's competency in making sure that that case can be prosecuted all the way through. So what happens on the road is just one, it's an important part, and probably the most important part. It's only one part of it. So once we looked at all of the pieces, we understood that Officer Valero is exceptional at what he does. I've spoken to the chief tonight. That hasn't changed. This was for last year, but I'm told that Officer Valero continues to set the standard. So I'm really excited to be able to come before you with some good news and recognize one of your officers. So if you don't mind stepping up, I'll read this. Officer Andrew Valero has honorably served the citizens of the state of New Hampshire. Your unyielding dedication toward the mission to reduce crashes on New Hampshire roads has undoubtedly resulted in countless lives being saved. The Office of Highway Safety thanks you. And I'd be, stay right here. One of the other things, I brought, where's Dave? Dave's right here. Dave Martinelli, he works in our office. He runs the what is commonly known as the drug recognition expert program. That deals with removing drug-impaired drivers from the roadway. He runs that for us. One of the things that we talked about doing last year was not just recognizing officers such as Officer Valero, but providing them with some training, providing them with some opportunities to maybe get out of New Hampshire to see what the rest of the world is doing in terms of training. So Dave's going to talk a little bit about that because he knows a lot more about it than I do, but...
The DRE program is governed by NHTSA and IACP International.
Can I just ask you to speak up to the, so the viewing members can hear us?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
The DRE program is run by IACP, International Association of Chiefs of Police, and NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Association. And every year they sponsor a drug recognition convention. It goes different places every year in the country, but this year it's going to be in Anaheim, California for 3 days, and we're going to, as the Officer of Highway Safety and Andrew being an award winner, we're going to take him to Anaheim to attend that conference for the training that they provide with national instructors from all over the country. So we look forward to that.
On our dime.
Oh, yes, we are going to take him.
Even better.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I guess you guys swear a new fire chief now.
You want me to do it?
Yeah. Chief, can we have a moment?
Yep.
So yeah, this is the form, so you're gonna have to use I, Chris Olson, who's also for the fire chief. Chris has planning for alternate. She couldn't find it. So you're just gonna have to use the term alternate. So you gotta swear the fire chief. So his name is Chris Olson. You can't scribble this one. Can't scribble this one. But his name is Chris Olson. And then it's going to be fire chief. It's definitely so. Is Chief Olson still out there?
Hold one hand up.
Yeah, do the one hand up.
He's gonna swear him in. He's gonna swear you. He's gonna swear you.
All right. Thank you for doing that. Yes.
One hand up.
All right.
Repeat after me, please. I, Chris Olson,
I, Chris Olson,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
and affirm that I will bear faith and true allegiance to the United States of America.
Say that again?
I think you're a little off on that one.
No, yeah, I read the wrong one there. I, Chris Olson,
I, Chris Olson,
do solemnly sincerely swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
I will faithfully, impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me
as
fire chief to the best of my abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeable to the rules and regulations
of this Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
this Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
So help me God.
So help me God. Amen. They set you up. They set you up. Nice job. Thank you.
I read the top one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you moved around.
Wonderful. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I'm in trouble.
He'll have to sign that. He'll have to sign his copy eventually, but we're gonna need that unless. Naomi, do you have a fresh one for later?
Nope.
Okay, so I'll have to use that one.
Read the second one.
Read the second paragraph. Okay, got that one. Chief, floor is yours. Thank you.
So we have the hiring and swearing in of Officer Justin D. Brophy. He's originally from Worcester, Mass. Single, resides in Pembroke. His girlfriend Donna is here with him. She will be pinning his badge. He's a certified police officer, graduate of the New Hampshire Police Standards and Training Council Academy 176, full-time. He and Officer Averill attended the same academy. He's a U.S. Army veteran, active duty. He was field artillery and automated tactical data system specialist. Holds a Bachelor of Science obtained at Westfield State University. Majored in criminal justice. He meets standards of hire from the New Hampshire Police Standards and Training Council. Recommending hiring at the same pay and earned leave rates as Officer Averill, since they were the same academy. He'd be step 5 on our pay scale, $29.80 an hour, 5 years of credit, hired April of 2018 on the CBA scale, so he would be at 150 hours annual leave annually, and he will start this Friday, May 5th, with the board's approval.
You're not as fast as Travis speaking, but you're pretty quick. Name and rate of pay again, please.
He is going to be a step 5 on the pay scale. His name is Justin D. Brophy, and he'll be credited with 5 years, effective April of 2018, which is 150 hours annually for annual vacation.
At a rate of?
At a rate of $29.80. And then, of course, you get the kicker for the bachelor's degree.
Which is?
48 cents.
Okay. So it'll be 30/28.
Yep.
Okay. I think we have to move, we haven't moved that, have
Nope.
we? Okay, so, does the board have any questions for the chief? We've met with Justin already.
Yep.
So, I'll entertain a motion. Or I'll make the motion. I'll move that we hire Justin Brophy at the rate of $30.28 an hour, for the position of, full-time certified police officer for the town of Weare.
I guess I've got one question, just because you're asking about the rates. I want to make sure, do we need to come in at $29.80 and then he's going to automatically get the bump, or do we have to come in at the higher rate?
Well, it's $29.80 and he gets the CBA stipend.
Right.
$29.80.
Yeah.
$29.80, okay, excuse me then, $29.80. All right, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Aye. All right, I'll see what I can do on this one. I'm gonna try not to butcher it. You're not I, Justin Brophy.
I, Justin Brophy,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear.
and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially,
Excuse me, go again.
and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially,
Affirm,
faithfully and impartially, discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a police officer, according to the best of my abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of this Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire. So help me God. Welcome aboard, sir.
Justin,
Don't disappear, I'll get a picture of you and the other new guy together. Okay?
All right, awards, ready?
Do they want any pictures or no? Now's the time.
You want any more pictures
Oh,
first?
I thought you had another new guy. And then,
no, not
he's the only new guy?
Yeah, he's the only new guy, the rest are awards.
Okay.
Rest of them been around for 5 minutes.
Come back up.
You can go that way with the seal.
Well, this way with the seal behind you? No, this is good. All right. Whatever you say, boss.
Awards. First award is for Sergeant Austin McGuire. He had a family emergency this week, so he's not here. We will announce the award and present to him once he gets back. Sergeant Austin McGuire was hired by the Weare Police Department in 2013 and promoted to sergeant in 2016. During his tenure, Sergeant McGuire has proven to be an asset to the department and the community. He was placed in charge of the department's field training program and without being directed, rewrote the program's policies and procedures. His efforts raised the standards of the program to bring it more in line with community expectations of law enforcement by emphasizing community outreach and transparency to improve our overall effectiveness. In 2019, Sergeant McGuire was involved in an officer-involved shooting incident where an officer was critically injured. As a result of that incident, Sergeant McGuire recognized the department's need for additional resources regarding the management of stress after being involved in a critical incident. Sergeant McGuire sought out training opportunities and completed the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation's Assisting Individuals in Crisis and Group Crisis Intervention course. With that training, he developed a program for the department, established policies and procedures, and partnered with neighboring communities to ensure officers encountering a critical incident would have the resources they need. Sergeant McGuire represents the best qualities of the law enforcement profession: integrity, attention to detail, resiliency, and compassion. His dedication to the department and the community has had many positive impacts. It is for his recognition of identifying areas of need within the department and then taking action to provide for those needs. He is being awarded the Weare Police Department's Commendation Bar for Meritorious Police Service. And that will be presented once he gets back. Officer Seth Gilmet, no, I'm sorry, I got Sergeant Brandon Montplaisir next. Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, 3rd Award. On October 12, 2022, Sergeant Brandon Montplaisir was at the Weare Mobile Station, 100 Concord Stage Road, when he noted the absence of a regular patron, so inquired as to his whereabouts. Sergeant Montplaisir was informed of the elderly gentleman's had not visited this establishment for approximately 1 week's time. Being very familiar with the patron's long-standing routine, he had some concern and decided to conduct a welfare check at the patron's residence. Sergeant Montplaisir knocked on the front door and immediately heard a voice inside calling out for help. Without delay, he initiated the response of the Weare Fire and Rescue and kicked in the door to gain entry, investigate further, and provide aid. Once inside, Sergeant Montplaisir found the patron positioned on the hallway floor after having suffered a heart attack and being unable to recover without assistance. Sergeant Montplaisir remained with him until rescue members arrived and ultimately transported the patron to the hospital for evaluation and treatment. It is for his actions Sergeant Montplaisir is awarded the Weare Police Department's Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, 3rd Award.
Can you save your picture, Ed Lewis?
Well,
This one is for Officer Seth Gilmet, who's with the Manchester Police Department and couldn't get off of duty tonight. So it will be presented to him at a later time. But I will read the award. Officer Seth Gilmet, Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, 1st Award. On May 6, 2022 at approximately 10 o'clock p.m. while off duty, Officer Gilmet was at O Steaks and Seafood in Concord, New Hampshire, when he observed a male patron grab his throat and stand up while gasping for air. Officer Gilmet realized the individual was actively choking and took immediate action by performing abdominal thrust, the Heimlich maneuver, on him. The abdominal thrust dislodged the food from the victim's throat and restored his normal breathing. Due to Officer Gilmet's response and swift action, the medical emergency was resolved without injury to the victim. It is for his actions Officer Gilmet is awarded the Weare Police Department's Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, 1st Award. This next one is a group award. We have several officers as well as a citizen. The citizen is not here. So Sergeant Ryan Frisbee, Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, 2nd Award. Officer Seth Gilmet, Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, 2nd Award. And Officer Andrew Valero, Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, 1st Award. And the citizen is Certificate of Commendation Award, Miss Gail Watts. Same incident, so I only got to read the incident once. On November 7th, 2022, at approximately 8 o'clock p.m., Sergeant Ryan Frisbee, Officer Andrew Valero, and Officer Seth Gilmet were dispatched to the 400 block of North Stark Highway for an echo-level medical distress call involving a male subject who was unconscious and in respiratory distress. All officers were advised CPR was being performed on the victim by a citizen, Miss Gail Watts. Sergeant Frisbee arrived at approximately 3 minutes later and took charge of the scene, directing Ms. Watts to continue CPR while he applied an AED to the patient. Sergeant Frisbee then took over CPR while the AED analyzed the patient. A shock was not advised. Officer Valero and Officer Gilmet reached the scene and assisted with life-saving efforts. The AED analyzed the patient a second time, and again no shock was advised. The officers established a rotation of CPR to provide continuous life-saving efforts until members of the Weare Fire and Rescue Department arrived. Fire and rescue personnel took over the care of the patient, and prior to the patient being transported, he had a pulse and was breathing. Due to Ms. Watts, Sergeant Frisbee, Officer Valero, and Officer Gilmet's swift response and actions taken, they were able to provide life-saving efforts until medical responders arrived on scene and transported him to a hospital. Medical personnel later provided an update indicating the patient had survived his medical emergency and made a full recovery. In recognition of their commendable actions, which sustained the life of another, Ms. Watts, Sergeant Frisbee, Officer Valero, and Officer Gilmet are being awarded Weare Police Department commendations. Sergeant Frisbee. Want to get a group picture?
Let's get the, yeah.
All right. Officer Gilmet
Hold that
is
thought.
not here.
Just hold that thought, Ryan.
Officer Valero.
Should I make sure it's up upside down right there?
And last one. Officer Chad Abril, Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, Second Award. On April 5th, 2023, at approximately 11 o'clock p.m., Officer Chad Abril was advised of a missing person whose cell phone was traced to the area of Collins Landing on Reservoir Drive. Officer Abril obtained a description of the victim's vehicle and checked the area, but was unable to locate it after an initial search. He continued to search and observed what appeared to be recent tire tracks in the snowbank, along with freshly scattered wooden debris. Officer Abril exited his cruiser and began searching on foot while calling out in hopes of contacting the missing person. Officer Abril heard a female's voice respond and subsequently located her approximately 75 feet off the roadway down a steep embankment in a heavily wooded area. Officer Abril requested Weare Fire and Rescue respond and then began to maneuver his way down to the operator to evaluate her condition. Upon approach, Officer Abril was able to observe the vehicle had extensive damage and its airbags were deployed. The victim was out of her vehicle laying on the ground, which was covered in snow, and the air temperature was 35 degrees and falling. Officer Abril learned the vehicle had crashed approximately 2 hours prior, and the victim had existing physical disabilities which left her unable to self-rescue. The victim also indicated she did not have service on her cell phone to call for assistance. Officer Abril evaluated the victim for injuries, and after determining there were none, assisted her up the embankment and onto the roadway where she was evaluated by Weare Fire and Rescue. Due to Officer Abril's exemplary observation skills and attention to detail, he was able to locate and bring the operator of the vehicle to safety, which likely saved her life due to the existing weather conditions. It is for his actions, Officer Abril is awarded the Weare Police Department's Commendation Bar for Life-Saving, Second Award. That concludes our business. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good night.
Didn't say that on there.
Is it?
I think it's hot in here. You know what
Oh,
That's what the
sir.
new fire chief said. He says, cool in here, he says.
I couldn't wait a while. You don't have anything more, right?
No?
Right?
I hope
Can you
not.
send me that stuff? Because I couldn't
Oh,
write it.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Like I said, you talk fast.
Yeah.
On the topic of sending stuff, I'll follow up by email with this document.
Thank you. All right, recognize Interim Director Jason Fisk for a DPW update. I had a question for you, and it wasn't what I said earlier, and I don't remember what it was. So, it'll come to me.
Sure, sure. So we'll start off with these. These are truck bids and the bid to outfit said truck. You'll find on the second page that it's a fairly new one for me. At least I haven't seen it here before. HP Fairfield bid out a truck turnkey ready to go.
They buy it,
Yeah.
outfit it, and we buy it one from them.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more expensive, but they're actually gonna be done in June, so that would save us a winter on a.
Do we have the truck that we ordered last year?
We just picked it up on Friday.
Oh, did you?
Fully equipped or just from the dealer?
Yep,
Okay.
all set, ready to go.
Okay.
So the first one is a HX20 from Allegiance. Just about same as we got last year. Price is a little bit higher. Second one's a Western Star 47X. I can't remember last year, Benji, were they the 47Xs last year, or were they still the 4700s?
I can't remember because they couldn't get us one time, so they didn't bid, I don't
Yeah.
believe. I think this was they did last year, the 4700s, I think.
Yeah, so the cab's just a little bit different. Same motor, same suspension, same everything.
What did we get this for this year? Was it the?
It was the HX20.
520? Okay.
Yeah, 520.
And that
And
was,
that'll have the Cummins in it?
Yep, that'll have the 15-liter Cummins.
the current one has a 15 liter?
Yep. Second one is a Freightliner from ATG as well.
What do they have for motors?
DD13s.
Oh, they do now?
Yeah, yep. Yep, it's essentially the same truck as the Western Star, just different cab. Couple different options inside, but nothing crazy. And then we only received one bid for the truck equipment from Fairfield. Donovan was invited, but they did not put a bid in.
Fairfield took over for Tenco.
Fairfield did take over for Tenco, so they're
kind of.
Only pony in town.
Yeah, they're the only two games, really.
Okay.
My recommendation would be that we would go with another HX20 after picking up that one. It is a heavier spec truck. It should take all of the abuse that we give to it, for sure.
Now, is this the same spec as last year, this 520?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost identical.
Walking beam, 6-speed Allison.
It's
Henderson spring, right?
yeah, it's the rubber block.
Oh, it's rubber block,
Yeah.
so it's
Oh, it is, yeah.
Hallmax.
It's the Hallmax, yeah,
Hallmax,
exactly.
okay. All right, that's what the Weare tanker has on it, that's what the other one has on it, okay. I haven't seen really anything go wrong with those, so. The 46s?
46s, yep, full lockers. I guess we don't really have much experience with the rubber block plowing, but
It's supposed to be similar to the walking beam.
it seems like there's less
Yeah.
to go wrong,
Right,
my opinion, but
yeah. I haven't seen a whole lot fail with them, to be honest with you. I mean, the rubber blocks break off occasionally, but
Yeah.
that's when they've got some time on them,
yeah,
so.
yeah, I mean, we break springs too, so.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. What kind of warranties are they offering with the 520?
So that's all the extended warranty. You got the
What do they got for timeline?
engine. Let me tell you so I don't misspeak.
I'll have to get down and see the new one, that'll come out, all right?
Yeah, yep, Tenco, Fairfield did a pretty good job. Engine after treatment, 72 months or 250,000. Allison got a 60-month unlimited mile. Tow, you got 60-month with 270 miles per incident.
Okay, so just after treatment on the motor?
Engine and after treatment.
Okay, so DC-1 ATX, okay. All right. All right. The one benefit that I'll say with my background and I've done this at work as well, is with the Cummins, you have more availability of service options. The Kenworth dealership's a Cummins dealer. There's Cummins, there's the Cummins distributor up on the end of Manchester Street in Concord. You can bring it to Peterbilt. You can bring it to International. You can bring it to Freightliner. You can bring it to all these places because they're all Cummins certified. The problem is with the Western Star and the Freightliner with the DD13, you are clamped to go only to the Freightliner dealer and or Power Products in Portland. The serviceability on that is a lot less than the Cummins. Also, too, is your independents, like the vendors that we utilize here in town, are more apt to have the Cummins software, be more familiar with the Cummins product than the Detroit product. That's what I'm running into in my fleet of 204 trucks right now. So, not saying it's going to sway us either way. Just I know that when time is of the essence, it makes a difference. So.
Speaking of time, and there's nothing we can do about it, did they give you a timeline on getting it? The truck?
So from Allegiance, we're first quarter 2024.
Okay.
It's not as bad as I thought it'd be.
The Stars are last quarter this year. So
sounds about right.
When did the cab and chassis come in for this new one? It was supposed to be in first quarter. Must have been.
about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tenco HP Fairfield only had it for 2 months, so.
That's not bad. That's
No.
pretty quick upfit.
No, they did a pretty good job.
Quick turn for them, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my other question would be, the current one that we have on the road. I know you don't hold a crystal ball, but will it make it to this one's delivery if it's the 520? Do you think?
Which one are you trading?
9. It's just been a money pit this year. The bodies, the side dumps failed as well at the end of the year. As you know, that's been rebuilt once. Gonna have to be done again if we gotta go through another winter with it. Obviously, we're gonna have to at least go through half of winter with it, so.
All right. Just a thought. It's obviously it's something to consider.
Ideally, if we had the money, we get the truck that's upfitted in June.
Ready to
and
go, yeah.
We have a brand new truck this winter.
You trading 9 and you just out, is that trade? Oh, you got it right here, 12,
Yeah.
Jesus, they 12.5, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, consider him.
I know it stinks, 'cause I always thought that'd be the one, right? But it just,
Yeah,
it
no,
kinda
that's.
rust out on you.
Yeah, that's what we had planned, me and you, we talked about it a bunch, keeping that one as a spare almost to the end if we could, but, yeah, it's just,
Turned.
yeah.
The rest of the truck too, or mainly the body?
The body, the engine, the transmission.
Engine, oh, transmission
Yeah.
too?
Turbo, we had to put one on this winter. Tranny's not doing the best, but
Worst part about that one and the two before it, 'cause is the shower curtains they had for inner fenders, and them motors got
Yeah.
some rusty and impossible to work on.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and all the coolant lines under there are just absolutely insane.
Frail.
They're rotted out, it's bad. And getting parts for that older stuff is getting worse and worse.
Yeah. We say older. It's not even really that older, but it's still worse and worse, right? Because they're focusing on the newer stuff. So.
Well, I'm in favor to go with your recommendation. I'm a Red fan anyway. Always had good luck with them there and
Join the club.
on my own stuff. So.
Coming back to Ricky's question, so the truck that it's gonna replace, is it, like you said, you just had to put a bunch of money into it or have
Or
this
you're going
whole
to have to
year?
put a bunch of money into it.
So it's a two-part question. One, can it get us through until Q1 2024? If not, what are we gonna do about it? And can we quit spending money on it?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do the best we can and put as
Minimum.
little money as we have to in it, but still make it a functional truck for us.
Now, is that the International?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
But does it have to work this coming winter?
It will,
Okay,
at least half the winter,
okay.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, again, the reasons I stated, I mean, we could possibly, explore the X12 and the Western Star, but it's probably not. You're gonna be talking the same dollar figure when it's all said and done.
Yeah, the problem.
Between the 520 and the
The
Western
problem
Star.
with that one from Fairfield, why it's more money than just buying a truck and then buying a body is we obviously get the municipal discount when
Right.
we buy the truck right from the dealer.
Right, correct, yeah, yeah. So,
I'm not opposed to a Western Star. We have a couple of them and they've been pretty decent, but
yeah, yeah,
out of the two of them, the HX 520 is definitely a heavy spec truck.
okay.
And you said that's the one you just got, this
We
520?
did from last year.
And then would you expect next year to go with another 520? And I ask because I like what they're doing, getting the Tahoes, the police department, like
Yep.
get everything as similar as you can. So if that's what you're talking about, then it's hard to argue with.
Yeah, so I guess
Similar dollar amount.
the idea is to always kind of run with the same bloodline, if you want to call it that. Even with our Western Stars, we have the 5-6 years apart that they are. Some things have started to change, and then this year or last year, they've already changed the cab. So it's hard to keep the whole fleet the same.
Sure.
But yes, that would be the idea.
I mean, your suspension's gonna be the same, your transmission's gonna be the same, the plow gear's gonna be the same, body's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be,
Well, that's the thing, we spec the body stuff out, that was always what
Right.
we did, was
Yeah,
try to
that's why
keep
we
the
have-
plow equipment the same.
Yeah.
You're never gonna keep the trucks the same.
no, they're always gonna
Maybe.
change model.
Yeah.
There's always a run of them.
Exactly, that's what we did with the Western Stars.
International's cheaper, Western Stars are cheaper.
So, I guess, and so you have a Cummins down there in the Kenworth, how has that been?
Perfect.
There you go.
And the three other Internationals were Cummins, until they rusted out, they were good.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that Kenworth's a 15.
I'm excited to
and-
see how that 15-liter pulls, because that 12-liter is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Kenworth is a 2015, and we have never had any engine problems. It's a Cummins, it's fine. Yeah. A few rotted out coolant lines and stuff, but we
That's
got
bound
some
to happen.
aftermarket stainless stuff, and
Yep.
Can you clarify the timeline for me? So Q1 2024, is that getting the cab and chassis and then turn around and do the upfit?
cabin chassis, and then go upfit.
So it would be ready to plow in the winter of '24,
Right, that's my question, yeah.
Yep.
You'd get about this time next year.
about this time next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is pretty reasonable, considering.
It's better than last year, with this many trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
better
just want
than-
to make sure I understand.
Yeah,
When,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
in
yeah,
the middle
no,
of December,
100%.
and it's like, you just said
Oh, yeah.
Q1, and.
Yeah.
well,
We're still
no,
waiting on the ambulance
Right.
from 2 years ago, so.
You're out from whenever now.
Yeah, pretty much a year plus, yeah. So, I don't have any other questions. You, Benji?
No,
You guys?
Nope.
No? Sherry?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll do the easy one. I'll move that we award the upfit to HP Fairfield, for $109,475. Is there a second?
And this is coming from the,
This is coming from the, Highway Truck and Equipment, Capital Reserve Fund. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the warrant article amount, by the way?
What was that number? 240? Was it 40? Oh,
You added to the
yeah,
reserve.
and there was some already in there.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
There's enough in there.
Got all my little thingamajigs right here.
Shall the town raise and appropriate the sum of $241,941 to be added to the previously established highway truck and equipment replacement capital reserve for the purpose of purchasing one fully equipped 10-wheel plow truck for the highway department?
That's a specific number.
Yeah, that was the grant money that we used up in
Yeah.
September.
and there's no issue, because we're not buying a fully equipped one. We're gonna buy a cab and chassis and then equip it, but that's not what the warrant said.
It's the way we've always written it. It's the way we've always put them together. You can't buy a fully equipped from HX 520. You can't do it. That's not.
I guess that's the only year you could ever buy one. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's
I know
just
what you're
how it's
saying,
always
yeah.
worded.
Splitting hairs a
Yeah.
little bit, but
Yeah.
That's how we'd always worded it.
if
I
it's
guess.
always been done, well.
Because it was always the end intention was one fully equipped. We
I know
weren't.
that's what's gonna hit the road.
We weren't gonna take the body off of another truck to
Sure.
put it on. That was the contention always was.
I'll
what do you do
save
with
my
that?
quibbles for another one.
So,
We can rewrite it next time.
yeah,
So as long as there's enough money, yeah, I'll go with I'll make a motion for the truck then.
there's a motion on the floor for the body of it.
Oh, we haven't
Yeah,
did that
voted on
for
that.
it? All right.
I'm still looking for a second, I believe.
I thought-
No, Sherry seconded it, that's right. We didn't vote on it though, right?
I thought,
No.
okay.
All right, call the vote. All those in favor?
Yeah, aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Now,
You know how much was in there before, Naomi?
20,
I don't
it says,
know.
it said
You and
22.
Beth rent the numbers when you open the bids, right? Yeah.
All right.
See, I didn't open the bids, he opened them with Beth.
So-
And
says
they
so,
ran
then.
numbers.
But
That
does
says
it-
so, then it must be,
But there's enough. Yeah,
Alright.
if Beth says so,
He
it's
wouldn't
so.
ask you to spend more, which,
right.
Right. So,
if that was the case, he would have probably asked you for 289.
Right.
Get it in June.
right. So, all right, I'll entertain a motion on the cab and chassis.
I'll make a motion to buy the HX 520 from Allegiance, for the total of $155,889
To come from
to come from the,
Highway Truck
Highway
Cap.
Truck and Capital Reserve Fund.
Is there a
Second.
second? Moved and seconded, all in favor? Yes?
Aye.
Yes.
Unanimous. Well done. Okay. Very good. Tipsy Turn, how's that doing? The truck over at the coast.
Called them on Friday.
Okay.
They close at noon.
Oh, that's handy.
I'm gonna call them first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Send you guys an email.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah.
So what does that ended up, I know we're going through insurance, but what did that end up costing insurance?
We haven't got that
So
far yet.
Beth is holding a check for about $70,000 that we have to have a public hearing for, because it's more than 10.
Yeah.
We were just waiting to see where it was before we scheduled a public hearing. Beth's still holding the insurance company check upstairs.
Okay.
But it was $70,000+ $70,000.
Okay.
Which sounds about
We have
right.
$1,000 deductible.
Sounds about right. Okay. Yeah, just
Yeah,
keep us
motor's
posted.
50, so.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, 3/4 motor's 50, so. And then the labor to go back and forth. Yep. Not fun. Not what I want to do. So, all right. Anything else for Jason? You got anything for us?
Started the transfer station, compactor relining today.
Oh, good.
So, went out there today, checked on them. Started working on it. They got the whole ram out already, so.
Wow, that was quick.
Yep, they're working right into that. Duck pond.
Yes.
We're not dredging duck pond out. I don't plan to take the water level actually any lower than it is. I'd like to see it up just a little bit more, because there is a bunch of mud, but obviously none of those trees grew up in the water, and that bank that's right on the corner, if that gets any more saturated than it already is, if that bank lets go, then
Yeah, we're gonna be able to hurt.
Duck Pond Road, the apron's gonna be gone.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to hurt.
Yeah,
I'd like to just give 5 minutes of back history, because you weren't here.
Yeah, that'd be great. Seen him out there.
The state used to take care of that, where they're taking care of it. And
You're talking the corner of 114 and,
Yeah,
Yeah.
down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duck
state
Pond
used to
Road.
come, let a little out all, they fooled around with it every day. When a resident came in and pleaded with us to direct the state to stop messing with it, I strongly urged that we didn't do that, but I got overruled by the board, and that had to call the state, and they said, we're done. So then we were stuck with that place, and it has been a nightmare, and it runs, so we didn't mess with it, and then it built up and ran out around Duck Pond, on Duck Pond Road, and then everybody was up in arms about that. And then the beavers actually got, because it kept getting so high, they'd go back to where they're dealing with it, and then water level would get up that, start running out Duck Pond, they go around Duck Pond, mess with it, and they just kept doing this. They actually had a dam out halfway across Duck Pond Road, finally. And, you have to do something with it. And we've been trapping the beavers out of it. Did get DES called on us last year. They came out, they said, as long as you're not disturbing the mud, and you're pulling out the sticks, you're not doing anything wrong. was always the intention, I thought, and what you just said, to try to get them controlled and
Manage the level.
have a level out there somewhere, but you gotta do something with it, and you're just pulling sticks, I see that. And
Yeah, I just
dealt-
wanna-
I
I
dealt with
just
it
wanna
too in
let
that
it be
corner,
known.
what you're saying, scary, it water bleeds, I don't know why it hasn't let go, but.
Yeah, I mean, you can, if you put a shovel into that bank, there's
Gone.
water running right out of the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I just want to let it be known that the highway department, the public works department does not want to drain Duck Pond all the way down.
The only reason that we're really doing it is to preserve Duck Pond Road. And that culvert that goes across and.
And like you said, the water was so high, what hasn't been brought here was, I won't give a number, but 3 or 4 different residents had called the office and was upset about how high the level was because it was killing their trees. on Duck Pond Road.
It's in the
so-
backyard.
It's in
Encroach
people's
on the
yards.
backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my plan, take the sticks out, get it to a manageable level, trap the beavers to a manageable population right there. I mean, they have 5 to 6 kits every spring, and there's 3 lodges there. I do a little bit of trapping, but there's a lot of activity out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking 15 to 20 of them probably kicking around there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it ain't free either, by the way. It's 400 to set up and 100 a beaver, if you hire.
Yeah, I mean, if
And
we.
Fish and Game want nothing to do with it.
If we hired somebody to do that, it's, yeah, like Benji said, $400 setup fee. Depends on who you talk to. I am technically a
But again,
wildlife control
we can't
officer,
just
so I
have
can do it.
anybody down there. It has to be a licensed trapper,
Yeah.
town property, et cetera.
I am, so I've been doing a little bit of it. Just after work on my way home, check traps, or in the morning on the way into work. And I've been doing it all over town at problem areas that we've had. There's another issue with landowner permission.
Mhm.
We have to do that.
Yes.
Sometimes
We've s-
people
yeah, we've
don't
signed
want
it.
that.
Yep.
So it kinda just stuff we gotta work around.
Okay. No, I appreciate the update. And again, I looked and all I saw was sticks out, some ruts where it's obviously wet from the backhoe backing in there.
Yeah.
That's
No, and
gonna, that's gonna be, but,
I tried to have the guys, take some of the sticks, fill the ruts in,
Mhm.
kinda clean it up a little bit.
yeah.
So plan to go over there this week and make it look a lot better than it does,
Yeah.
even if we have to do a little bit of handwork over there.
Right, yeah.
I don't
But that-
want it to be an eyesore to people driving through town either.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when it was way down, when, you know, the key stick was pulled, unfortunately. It happens, and it went way down, but I don't think we're at that point right now. I think we're somewhere in between. So, my own thought. So,
And paving,
yes.
I met with, the engineer that we contract out about some, pipes that we need to get replaced, that he's gonna draw up some designs for, and, I know I've had, a flood of residents wanna know what the plan is. We've had an email chain you sent over to me that I saw, probably Friday, I think. I was thinking about maybe me and you can have a phone call or something and see exactly what you thought, if you can remember what your plan was to get done this year. I have an idea, but just so we can compare notes on that and money-wise.
I
You
guess,
gotten any preliminary numbers for pavement? I didn't get that far yet.
When I talked to the engineer, he had some numbers for me in a couple other different towns that they were doing, and it was a couple dollars more than what last year was. But it didn't seem like it was outrageous.
Good. No, I'd be happy to sit down anytime, Jason.
I guess I got a question, and it's more of a, it's not as we can, it's are we able? Are we gonna be able, in your opinion, as the DPW, to do the same job that we've done in the past? And what I mean by that is provide the same amount of help to the road contractors without sacrificing the amount of the regular maintenance work, the ditching, the cutting of the trees back, et cetera, because of our staffing level.
Yeah, it was my goal, I guess, this weekend to get a presentation for you guys about that, but I just didn't end up having time.
Because I think, my personal feeling is that we are not going to be able to supply that because we are limited in staff.
Yeah, and that's obviously something I wanted to go over with you guys, obviously, because money is gonna play a big factor in that. But I think, in my opinion, that we should kind of let them take care of some of the stuff that we've taken care of in the past, just solely based on
The staffing.
the staffing, and we're having some experienced guys who have a lot of seat time and some machines that are retiring and leaving. And it's only gonna hurt us when it comes to the regular maintenance if
Right.
we're not.
And that's my fear.
If we're not keeping an eye on that, we're just gonna fall behind so far, and
Yeah.
we're gonna have more issues.
Again, I'd like to keep the same service, but I know that's not practical, right?
Yeah, I
Not,
mean,
not
we're-
when we're this many hands down.
We're hiring people, and we're getting people that are interested in running machines and getting seat time, but again,
They're not there yet.
It's gonna take time.
What was the other question? Oh, I know we were a little late last year, but washing bridges, is that in the next 30, 45 days?
We're getting the fire trucks up this week, is
Okay.
my plan, getting
Okay.
them, getting all the plugs back in them, getting them ready to go.
Okay.
Getting the
I
pumps
just-
going.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
We
that
always
we're-
waited till past spring because you had to, water was
Staying in the
high.
water.
Right,
Yeah.
well, I'm just thinking, like I said, that's why I said 45 days or whatever, you know.
We did
But-
middle of summer last year.
Yeah, I thought it was middle of summer, October, or August. I thought we were pretty late last year.
It was usually August, just, it gave half dozen guys something to do when somebody went on vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So,
Yeah, the problem is two guys go on vacation, we
Oh,
got
yeah.
4 people.
exactly. No, I understand that. I just, you know, obviously we've brought River Road to the forefront and don't want to have that happen to any of the other bridges if we can avoid it. Which I understand the water's gonna go down, and right now it probably wouldn't be the time. All the water up where it is. Are we holding together pretty good as far as current that we know of? With all the rain and everything we've had?
Yeah, we got a couple of washouts today and stuff, but,
Nothing major though.
nothing crazy. Most of the culverts that we had fail this winter, we've band-aided back together, and they haven't been a problem this spring yet.
Yeah, okay.
But again, they're on the list, so.
Okay, and that's kind of, again, what you said, goes along to maintenance, you know, let's make sure we keep what we got good,
Yeah.
type thing.
I'm working on a program, just to go around, have a spreadsheet of, just like Benji's done with the roads, just culverts essentially. Figuring out which ones are yellow, green, red. Kinda just keeping those in mind, just so we can go around a month or whatever it may be, send a couple guys around, and that's
Make sure
their
they're
job.
cleaned out,
and
yeah.
Clean them out, check them out.
Okay.
You mentioned River Road. We had a resident ask about the lift sitting on River Road, and he was asking what it cost, and we didn't have an answer.
It's probably because it was been down for so long, right? We just got one that was running not too long ago.
Yeah, we've had issues with the lift breaking down on us. I think that's
Resolved.
It's resolved now. That's the 4th lift we've had down there.
So, I guess, can you give me some background on why is he excited about that?
I guess as good as ours. It's down there, it was a by the week rental, right?
Month.
By the month,
What are we
excuse me.
using it for?
We're using it to go into there to check the bottom of the bridge with the engineer.
Okay.
And then B, once the engineer comes up with the plan drawings, and correct me if I'm wrong, for the welder to stand in and weld the plates on.
Okay. And what,
Needle scaling, right?
You've been
Needle
scaling
scaling
already,
too,
haven't
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
because I know we talked about it 2 weeks ago. What was the time frame for getting the welder in there?
With all of the problems we've had, we were supposed to be done by the end of last month, but it just hasn't worked out that way.
Mostly because of the lift breaking down, right?
Exactly, and we're not paying for all that breakdown time.
That's what I was gonna ask, yeah.
So yeah, we're shooting for the end of this month.
But with that reach, that machine, there was only a couple in the state when we pulled the rental agreement. There was only a couple of those available in the state, and they were getting scooped up real fast, so that's why, it's the reach and
So-
the neck on the end of it.
Are we done with it at the end of next month then, if work goes as you hope?
That's the goal.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So 1 more month.
yeah, roughly.
Well, 2 more.
End of May.
2 full months.
2 full months, right? Right. As long as it stays running. So, I think that
You said you didn't get no bites on mowing?
I didn't. I spoke to the gentleman that does some surrounding towns last Friday.
That Chris that works
Yep.
in doing, yeah?
Yep. I called him a couple times, left him some voicemails. He called me back, informed me that he was on vacation. So I've been emailing him. He's gonna send us over a quote.
What was your bid look, like certain roads or the town or a couple plow routes or?
We sent it out per mile.
Okay.
I spoke with him. He said he does it by the hour. So, whatever he comes up with the hourly rate and what we have in our budget,
Yeah.
I figured that I could come up with a plan and send him on his way.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, we're gonna come up with some sort of central location around where he's mowing, so we're not having an hour travel time across
Yeah,
town from
for
the
sure.
shed. So,
But all you can do is one area and then another one another area.
yeah.
He does a great job, but only time I ever put one together, I just put so many passes, and then so many passes at intersections so you could see, and
Yeah.
turned him loose.
The two guys that I spoke with that have hired him spoke very highly of him, so said he did a great job with the intersections, cutting stuff back, and as well as he's got the ability to go up higher, so.
Okay.
Well, he did a good job for me one time I hired him, so.
Very good. Anything else for Jason? I got nothing. You got anything for us? Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thanks.
it. All right, we'll move on to the manifest. Going to move to order the treasurer signed payroll accounts payables checks dated May 4th, 2023, is including the following manifest. Payroll manifest of $68,780.20. Weekly payroll, accounts payable of $16,219.91. Weare School, $400,000. John Stark, $250,000, for a total of $735,011. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. I have the box. I don't think we got.
Is there enough signatures?
That's what I'm gonna check right now. I
No,
don't
there's
believe that
not.
there is.
There's not enough signatures.
Which brings us to,
Minutes.
I'm gonna switch it to the administrator's report. So I can go through this.
I didn't sign, I read them on my email, but I didn't sign
So
them.
Jason just gave
Just
you
gonna make sure we got 3 at this point in the game. Let's see.
basically the rundown for the DPW, police department, nothing new there. Bolton Field, driveway, Jason's putting together a proposal for the roadway and the drainage, trying to keep the roads that go down into the field area not so ruddy. You have a public hearing scheduled in your mail that you have on your desk. The public hearing scheduled for the Chase Park fee schedule that you discussed. That's scheduled for 2 weeks from tonight at your next regular meeting at 7:30. You heard about the DPW proposal to do the boat ramp in the fall. Conservation, you heard, joint loss, Collins, asbestos. So I did meet with a gentleman from Cornerstone Cemetery Services, because I was, a little, as now that you're the cemetery trustees, everybody calls me. And that's, you know, to see the maps that we have, and it's tough to find when you get a square this big and you squish 6 people on it. I don't know if there's any more room. So basically what I did is I took him out to the new section of Pine Grove, which was done in 1998.
Okay.
So at that point, in 1998, I think with a little bit of a metal detector, you should be able to find, there's a spike and there's a circle
Yeah,
that
the
has the
ring,
number
yeah.
on it. What we found was the number and the spike is in the top left-hand corner of the lot.
Okay.
The other 3 have yellow, they're not flat, they look like a mushroom. He suggested that we get rid of those because that's tough for them to maintain. And a lot of them are shaved off because they're like this, not flat.
Not flat.
What we found was that cemetery is pretty much all marked. So we can take people out to buy lots there. The problem you're gonna have is when it comes time to do burials in some of the older cemeteries, because that's a little tougher. I went out today with, actually, John Osborne went out, we went looking, because we've got a monument company coming for Bill Herman's stone, and then we also have the monument coming to basically fix up the Gaffney Four Corners, so I had to go mark that with them. We hunted around for one, I can't find one, can't for the life of me. Him and I walked about every headstone you could find. I did get a better description from the family, so I'll have to make another trip out to see. It's an old stone.
Is it in the new section?
No, it's in the Johnson section.
Oh, okay.
So I'll take it to a trip out there, but it was comforting to know that that piece in the 90s, they did go and put them out there. It's just, I tripped over a spike because the spike had popped up, but the
ring was down.
dome piece was down under the grass. And it looks almost like a railroad tie that, you know, same color as the brown grass. So when I was walking along, but it is marked, so I think we'll be okay there to sell lots over there. The other thing he suggested, and I don't think it was a bad idea, he does Manchester, and so right now we have a list basically maintained in Excel. What they do in Manchester is they go back to the old index card, right, in a box, and it's got, say, lot 381 on it. 381 may have been bought by somebody, and then as they're, you know, buried, it's noted and where they're buried. And then maybe 382, 383, 384 is empty, so you'd have empty index cards. That's how you would know, because if you guys are aware, Salem's not, Benji's not, you take it out, roll out that map that we have, there's literally squares on a map that they sold little squares too, but there's no dimension, there's no foot markers,
Nope.
meaning the corner markers.
Yeah,
So it's very hard when someone wants to be buried in that old section, is you have to go out, you actually have to prod the way you find a vault, and hopefully you can find the corner markers, but what we found is the corner markers have been grown over with grass. We found one way under the dirt today, hoping we'd find that other family, and it wasn't, it was someone else. But it was literally this much below the grass that we dug with our hands to find it. So I think we're still in a little bit of a, because as you know, it's illegal to bury somebody in the wrong lot.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can go to jail for it, and, you know.
That's not on my
So
list of things to
I
do.
think it's something that it's gonna be a tough, because they're gonna start calling now, because anybody that they held now can be buried. So services are gonna start to be calling. So we'll do our best, but it may take a joint effort and a hike like we did before to find it.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely a hike.
Yeah, the solid waste ordinance, I was able to put some extra copies in your box of towns that I had come to. So at some point, we do need to pick a date for a public hearing, but I want you to have time to look at them. I gave you all hard copies, so you all have them. On my schedule, we were gonna finalize the DPW director job at next meeting, next week, to finalize that during work session.
So the public hearing for the solid waste ordinance, we don't get a draft one up first?
No, you need to, and I know last time we talked about doing it with a fee schedule, but there's no way. You guys haven't even read what I just gave you.
Right.
Right.
And that's all I could gather from my listserv, which is the other towns. But I think you have to, before we schedule a public hearing, we need
Yeah.
to look at what we have. As you know, it's from 1992. And then look at what I was provided. Some
Right.
of them are earlier, some is one's 21, one's 16.
Yep.
So there's some newer ones, smaller towns, bigger towns. So we have to really put together any changes we're going to, and have the public hearing
Yeah.
available, the document available for people, just like
Right.
the fee schedule had to be put up as well as the fee schedule for people.
Right, yep.
The police job description, did we not do anything more, and this could be me?
Right. Yeah,
We didn't do anything more because of the fact that we wanted to clarify with legal on that one line in the contract
So it's
agreement.
not gonna be on the 5th, or you want me to get your answer for the 8th?
answer for the 8th.
Yeah.
That was what we wanted. We wanted an answer for the 8th.
If we could even do anything.
Correct. But we wanted an answer
Yeah.
if we could or could not.
Could not,
Right,
yeah.
that's what we wanted.
So,
Yeah, I think so.
so can I, a quick question, like, when we make a request like that, what does that cost us?
Depends on how much time. I mean, I think she's 100.
Hourly.
It depends. She's 195 or 205 an hour.
Cause it's really,
Usually you'll get a bill, you guys get the bills.
Yeah, we get itemized
It'll
bills.
tell you how many minutes and what it basically was used for.
Right.
is there like a
It's not
minimum
charged by-
hour?
What's that?
Is it like a
No.
1 hour minimum or anything?
No.
No, it's
20 minutes, half hour.
it's phone call time
Okay.
or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and when you guys get the bills, they're itemized and attached.
Yeah,
Right.
I know,
Right. No, it's, yeah.
So the ethics committee.
But this thing,
so, well, just, kind of to, I think what Benji was saying a second ago, before we spend that money, should we choose if we even care to make edits?
well, the board wanted to make the edits, and then we read that and we stopped.
Yeah.
So, I think the intention was to make edits. But, you know, with that line, I guess, what, are we wasting time by even talking about it if
Well, time and money.
this board's time, right, to discuss it, to try and do something if we can't even do it?
Yep.
Right? So that was, I think that was the intention, was just to find out, and I think with that one line, I think that'd be pretty quick with the lawyer.
Okay.
I think she would be pretty prompt on that one. I don't think it'd take a lot of research and looking into it, but again, I don't wanna be in the sling and having a lawsuit against us from, you know, a grievance, per se, from the police chief, because we altered his contract, when it specifically says no. So, I think it's money well spent, personally.
Okay.
So it could be a 2-minute item and a 2-minute
Right, it could be
answer, but not-
literally 15 minutes,
Yeah.
you know?
And I guess the packet we got earlier has got me thinking about things, and, yeah, this one.
Yeah,
It's like, about how does the town spend money on lawyers? Well, because there have been some where like an email comes in, an email goes back out, well, is that even okay? I mean, how is that authorized right now?
I think that's a discussion we need to have, honestly. I do.
Yeah, because I
think-
don't want to.
I think it's a larger discussion.
Because I don't want to get
No,
in hot
that's
water
fine, yeah,
myself
that's fine.
about, well, hold
Yeah,
on,
no,
did we just tell the
understandable.
lawyer, if we're doing it, then I think we need to make a motion to.
You need what?
I think we need to make a motion to spend money on the lawyer, if that's,
I think it's a broader conversation. I think it's a broader conversation. I really do. Just my thought.
Okay.
Because if, I mean, my thing is with that logic,
yep.
what if there is an active pending case? Every time we pick the phone up, do we have to approve it? Because it's money spent? I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
I
a
know, that's
thought.
my question.
That's
Yeah.
but, well,
Same
but
goes
my
with the
question to
emails,
you,
yeah.
right, is, and again, same thing, right,
Yeah.
with the emails and, so I think that's
So my question is, how's that currently authorized?
again, I think it's a broader discussion that we should have. Maybe not right now, but, and the reason I say not right now is just essence of time. I was thinking bringing it up for the work session, honestly, next week.
I'd love to.
I'm
I'm already talking about minutes, let's do it.
Right, yeah, I'm 100% with it, to talk about, like I said, at the work session.
Okay.
Because I don't think we're gonna be short on topics to talk about at the work session, but I think that is a topic to talk about.
Yeah, I've
Myself.
always been a little curious. I mean, obviously, we can authorize Naomi to, but are other department heads allowed to on their own without asking us? And I've
No,
always been, no,
no.
they're not, okay.
No, that's the way it's done.
Is there a policy on that? Do we have a
I
policy?
don't believe we've had a policy, no. So and that's what I meant by the work session is maybe we adopt a
Yep.
policy.
Yep.
Yeah, just like we talked about last time.
Come up and work with one,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. That's
yeah, really,
pliable.
same thing.
Pliable, feasible, and works.
Like, I'm curious, and I guess I can come to it in a minute when we get to other business, I can come back to it, because I wasn't trying to interrupt the end of your report. Yeah, I guess I'll hold off a minute.
Okay.
And get through minutes and whatnot.
Okay.
And the ethics committee for the month of May is meeting the 5/3/5, I'm sorry, that's 17. 5/3, 5/17, 5/24.
Oh, 5/17?
6.
Yeah.
Beth also put out an RFP for auditing, and we absolutely got no bids.
Who did it for us last year?
Right now, we're still with Quadzik Sanderson.
Okay.
We do have an option which she'll bring forth to you if you want to extend for another year.
Are they keen to that?
I'm just saying that that's an option, I don't think we can list it.
Okay.
It is an option that you can do. Perambulation, I've just gotta make contact with Dunbarton, and is it easier to give one of your numbers to the gentleman versus me trying to schedule you guys?
I would think it'd be direct,
Sure, that's fine.
honestly, yeah.
Sure,
One or both, or doesn't matter?
yeah.
Because the gentleman from Dunbarton, you don't need me to have him call me call you, you call.
No, I think
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
waste of her
Yeah.
So
time.
do you want me to reach both of you?
Sure,
Or give him both of your numbers?
That's
Or
fine.
anybody?
yeah, that's fine.
Give me both the numbers.
I'm just regular for next week, it's tomorrow. Did you all get the email that came on Saturday afternoon?
Yep,
Do you, I mean.
I was gonna talk about it under
it's-
otherwise business.
All right,
Yeah.
sure. The bathroom is done and signed off on by the town council. Town council, Jesus, sorry. By the building
Building
inspector,
inspector.
he's authorized and okayed it, and we had intended to use it. It didn't happen for the
Oh, did-
rabies clinic.
That's been
That's
rescheduled.
been rescheduled for Monday, the 15th of May.
Okay.
The solar was gonna come in tonight, they've opted for the 15th.
Okay.
And then the rest hasn't changed. We have a meeting next week with the HVAC gentleman for looking in the basement. Generator, I haven't, Jay was here, we could have asked him about
Yeah.
the generator as you mentioned.
Naomi, I just want to let you know, the stone building was scheduled last week. They had an emergency at their shop. I was there until,
Okay.
for 45 minutes, and I finally called. I said, "What's up?" And he said, "Oh, my,"
Oops.
yeah.
And so the East Street barn can be taken off. That's all set.
Well, he's gonna go up and reattach that panel. It's up there, it's attached still, but it's not great. And he's also gonna put a bid together, so we have some idea what it's gonna cost to replace that roof.
He'll have a better chance to look at it when he's up there.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think their whole thing, the under.
Yeah,
maybe
the
under
sheathing is
structures,
not that great,
the
like you said, the sheathing's not that great.
He looked at it quickly one day when he came over to, it was a while ago, and he said he thought that there's enough of it there that's still stable, so it shouldn't have to be resheathed. They'll just run the strips there and across the
Oh, like a strapping?
strapping across it. They'll coat the whole thing. He's gonna send me the email. I gotta look in my junk folder, because I may have gotten it in the junk folder, and if I have, I'll look
So I'll
tomorrow.
leave it for now and just tell me when it needs to be taken
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah,
Just so we don't forget it.
yeah. And I'm sure he hasn't called me this week, because it's supposed to be raining about every day
Yeah, I
again,
heard that too.
Yeah.
so.
You're gonna save the correspondence.
Yep. All you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
So who is doing the inspections right now for
The-
us?
For the building inspector,
Yeah.
we are on mutual aid with Goffstown. His name is
Goffstown.
Jack Shepherd.
Okay.
He comes on Thursdays. We had him 2 days. They took him back because Goffstown's got some large projects going on. We are going to, I'm hoping that for the work session, I can at least throw together an ad. We have to put an ad out.
Yeah, well,
Because we can't continue, to run on mutual aid. You know, it's just, he's making it work, but it's just hard. You know, at some parts of the inspection, for instance, if you're doing a barn, garage, Tony's been going out and looking at the footings and taking pictures.
Right.
And the same thing with foundation, and that saves a little bit of Jack's time. What we have noticed is I asked about getting maybe an electrician, because we are getting very busy with solar. So that takes an electrician inspection.
Mm.
But if you're doing a new house, it takes the electrician, plumbing, and framing all in one inspection.
Right.
So to divide it all up, I spoke to Jack, and at the moment, he's able to do everything right now. But we're only in May.
Right.
Things are gonna start to
Subject to
look
change.
But we really need to advertise. I've tried to ask him because, and I'm not being disrespectful, but there's not a young man's game out there.
No.
It always seems to be a retired building contractor or building person that does it. That's what we've had for the last X amount of years. I don't know how you attract someone younger to get into that profession.
Right.
I don't think there's a call for it. Because if you go to any of your towns, they're basically part-time. This gentleman here is a retired as well. He's an OSHA inspector.
Right.
You know, so they come from inspections. He's also a lawyer, a surveyor, and everything else.
How's he doing the electrical? Is he electrical? Is he in a license? Okay.
So it's just difficult, but again, when we advertised the last time, it took us months to get one person. It's
Right.
just not, and I don't know what the answer is.
It's a niche market. It's a niche market.
It's something that
Yeah.
they're not getting into at a young age.
Right.
I don't know why. But I think we need to put together our own ad and try to take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
So that would be, I'd like to add that to your work session, is to put together an ad. The job description, very old, we probably gotta do that one too, because that job description is very old.
Got it written down.
Yeah, so, and that was gonna be on a request for the work session to discuss that.
It's on there. For me anyways.
It might be something we wanna, try to draft and agree on sooner,
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That position's open. The police chief's isn't right now, I don't think it's an emergency.
Right.
Right, and you're very right.
Yeah.
But at the same, it worked out well with two, but
Yeah.
it's one day a week's not gonna work.
Right.
No,
You know,
it's
there's
not.
things that are- He does come in and do plan review, he does all the plan review, and then he goes out and does between 10 and 12 inspections.
Right.
But he doesn't stay and visit, he goes and does what he's supposed to do,
And then
he moves
heads
on.
out.
And Katie's been setting him up so that he's not going to that end of town, going to that end of town, going up there and going over there.
Mhm.
She kind of groups them together and gives him a Google map, and he's off and running.
Right.
How's that affecting people, though, that are building a house in South Weare, and he's in North Weare working for a week? If he's only coming one day a week, it must be messing up people's schedules as far as having,
As I said, it hasn't, I mean, a couple of times he's, it's been working, but it's May 1st. Not gonna tell you come June it's gonna work,
Yeah.
but we have to take care of ourselves.
I really don't think we have an option.
Yeah.
It is what it is, I mean, we're at the beck and call of what we can get right now, unfortunately, and unfortunately for the builders, but we do what we can
I asked
do.
for mutual aid, and Goffstown's the only one that was doing it, others didn't wanna do it. A lot of your other communities are guys that are retired that are doing 3 towns now.
Are roughly in the same spot we are.
They're like
Yeah.
3 days a week, but it's a day here at one town, a day here at another.
what
Yeah.
about, I know he just retired here a short time ago, and I don't know if he's interested, but what about Mark Tessia?
I asked him, he said no.
Okay.
They just sold their house too.
Oh,
Their
they-
house was up, and it's uncontingent from what I've seen. I don't think.
Yeah,
it's-
it's that.
Yeah, I just happened to think he's right
Yeah,
down the road.
no, I
Yeah.
asked too, because he did help us and back up with us.
Yeah, back when.
So, we do have to do something. I don't
Mhm.
know how long it's gonna take us to find somebody,
No, I don't either,
you know.
so. All right, we'll go back to the minutes, if you're all set.
Yeah, but you can't do the 19th, you're still hanging on December 19th. Yeah, minutes. I'm sorry, I moved on.
So what minutes are we gonna do?
April 17.
17th and the
17th and
23rd?
24th.
24th.
Okay,
I read them.
17 you're on table.
all right. I read them. It was late.
I've got 5 edits for the 17th and nothing
Okay.
for the 24th.
Yeah.
So,
What?
and nothing for the 24th, so don't get too worried when I start rambling.
Making headway here.
Well,
All
there's-
right, so, page 1 on the 24th?
We doing 24?
Yep.
Those are the short ones.
Exactly, I'm still trying to get to them. Is there only one page?
I
Or
think
is
it's
it
2 pages,
Okay, page 1? Page 2?
maybe 3 pages. I'm on the 17th.
Oh,
24th is fine with me.
oh, all right. I guess we'll just,
Make a motion?
I'll entertain a motion.
Second, or
Make a motion to accept the, 24th?
24th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Minutes as read?
Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. All right, 17th, page 1.
Let me catch up.
Oh, wow, yeah, there's quite a bit on this one.
Okay.
2
Uh,
or
yeah,
1?
to page 2.
Page 2, yeah.
Yeah, there's a section, Kyle Parker's comments, he talks about an addition twice, and the first one says edition, like the edition of the magazine or whatever, newspaper.
Oh, should be A.
Yep.
Instead of E?
It's correct a sentence later.
Okay. So it just needs to change the word.
I can find it, hang on. Like I said.
Or was it here?
It's, let's see. It's, that line begins with the word mentioned.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Almost halfway down.
ED
Yep,
is,
yep,
okay,
yep, yep.
gotcha, addition, yep,
Mhm.
gotcha.
Okay. Anything else on 2? 3?
Yeah, this was when Frank was talking about fee updates. Trying to find it again. Oh, the second last sentence there, he said there are no plastic bag and 5-gallon pails. And really, what started me down this path, I was wondering what pail, it was 5-gallon buckets, because pails was also spelled wrong. But then it was a little unclear. Mr. Baker stated that the co-op talked about plastics being done again. There are no black plastic and 5-gallon pails. Well, just mash them together somehow. Mr. Baker stated that the co-op talked about plastics being done again, and black plastic bags and 5-gallon buckets will not be accepted.
I like that.
That was it for that page.
4?
The Chase Park fee schedule is not quite correct. The resident daily and season pass is correct, non-resident is correct, but then it says the rest of the fee schedule did not change, but the seniors and veterans did change as well. I don't have the right numbers right in front of me, but the one that's on the
I thought
public,
she just combined them, she didn't?
but they also changed.
Yeah, but one was $5, and, yeah, I don't have it with, I don't know if I have it here.
I don't have it with me, but
Yeah.
the copy she sent out was accurate.
Okay. Yeah, I have it upstairs attached to the public hearing.
Yeah.
So I'll take off that sentence and just, do you want me to note the change?
I think that'd be good. So so on the fee schedule itself, there's resident, and then there's senior veteran, and then there's non-resident. So just break it down like that. And the change is senior and resident, sorry, senior and veteran are being combined, and the fees are being changed for those two sections.
Anything else?
Okay.
Page 6 for me.
5? 6?
There's a line, okay, there's a paragraph, Selectman Bloom stated, yada, 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 FLAC should be FLAK.
Ah, yes.
And after that, page 13.
Whoa. Anybody have anything on 7?
No.
8? 9? 10? 11? 12? And almighty 13.
Okay. This one, it's kind of self-defeating, but, so the right to know reply,
Yep.
I had made a point of not bringing up the person's name.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
So do you want me to take it out?
I said like, I was just saying a resident at the time.
Okay.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes, April 24th as...
Not the 24th.
Sorry, April 17th as
Amended.
amended. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second,
Move second, all in favor?
yes.
Yes. All right, brings us to correspondence, other business, which we did receive an email, which, it's nice to have the email finally up and running. Everybody have theirs up and running?
Yep, seems to be working.
Yep, I had to make a couple phone calls, but everything seems to be working fine.
And did you get yours done?
Yeah, I did. I actually stopped in for some other reason, and Beth helped me set it up, 'cause
I don't think mine's set up. I've been gone for a few days, so I'm back.
it seems to be.
So I'll try to look at
Yeah,
it.
you'll have to get a hold of Beth, she's got
It's
some
a
login
It's a
information.
learning curve, because I'm still getting both. I don't understand the whole proof point.
Yeah,
it's
that's like
different.
that's like a spam catcher.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to remember what, I'm like, proof point?
Gotta prove
Oh,
the
wait,
same ones
wait,
aren't every
wait.
time.
Yeah, so I guess what you do on the proof point one, it was catching everything,
Yeah.
but I still had the old exchange.
Yeah, you have to go down
So
and
they were still coming in both.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
so I had to undo,
one,
release and approve, so it would come back through the next day.
right, that's what I have to do, is you have to go down and release it and
So I
approve it.
kinda like having both,
But with
it's-
that, you can actually approve it to be a secure link, right? If it's gonna be a reoccurring, you can actually approve
It's
it.
just a change and
Right,
change.
but I think in
Can,
there,
but it keeps catching the same person for me.
It does.
So I don't know what approve is actually doing. It does remind me, on our site, we sent out the email to everybody that said, hey, individual email addresses have changed, but on the website, it's still the old one.
oh, okay.
So I don't know,
Nope.
I don't know if those forwards are set up right. I hope nobody's emailing the old one and those are getting lost.
And getting, yeah. Well, if they were emailing the old, yeah, unless they're going, because again, I should be still getting them,
Yeah, we talked about forwarding for a little while.
right. But if they didn't forward and they were still going to the older accounts, we should be getting them on our personals, right?
If that's
Theoretically.
still set up.
If that's still set up, right.
Yeah, because I just wanted to share, when you sent me something, it does show the wearenh.gov.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, I just was curious, 'cause I'm like, oh, let me just
Yeah.
hover and see if it
Yeah.
is, and it does.
Yeah.
No, that was definitely a move in the right direction. I agree wholeheartedly with that, so.
So you're saying the website still says wear.nh.gov?
Yep. And then should our communal one change? Board members?
I would think it would,
Yeah.
right?
The what?
It should be board members at wearenh.gov.
Yeah, we have to fix that.
Okay.
'Cause
I
like-
believe it is.
Well, because the email that went out with all of our individual changes, it was still board members at where.nh.gov.
Yeah, it was forwarded, yeah, and you're
So
right,
it's
and it
still-
got forwarded to the new account. Because
Right,
that's what I
right,
have here,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it did get forwarded, yeah. So at least that's being forwarded, we know of.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll update the website.
Okay.
Just an oversight.
No, good. All right, so we did get an email from concerned citizen. There was signed Fed Up Weare, right? Not
The one that
concerned
says
citizen.
fed up wear right now.
Yeah, Weare, right, about gun shooting, noise, and asked us to do something about it. If
Where's
there's anything we
that?
can do about it, huh?
Where's that?
Email we got?
It's an email, and it's south end of town, I think?
South End?
I have no idea. Doesn't even give you a clue.
I didn't
Oh, no, you're right.
think,
Nope, it
It
doesn't
didn't
say.
say.
It doesn't say.
She didn't, they didn't want to say, and that's fine.
Nope. Nope, they didn't want to say.
How are you gonna correct it if you don't know where it is?
Well,
Well, you
that's-
can't, there's nothing in a specific spot of town anyway.
Right.
The
yeah.
police have been notified and went out. I mean, it'd be back to the long time discussion about having a
Noise ordinance.
noise ordinance.
Right, which we've gone down that road
A few
multiple
times.
times, and
We've had committees and
we had public hearings and committees, and, you
it's
know,
unfortunate for the ones that abuse it and.
Right.
I don't know what we do with,
and it's the same conversation we've had at this board level, again, is, you know, there is legal process. You know, if they want to file with the police department, most people don't want to. That was what we were told in those public hearings and meetings, was, you know, a complaint can be filed, and then they can go over, I think it's disorderly conduct, I'm not sure. But again, they have to file.
Is that or disturbing the peace?
Disturbing the peace,
Disturbing the
excuse me,
peace,
yes.
probably.
Disturbing the peace, yeah.
I'd assume if it's gone to the PD that's been looked at.
Oh, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's been suggested. But again, if the person's not willing to do that, right now, as the town lays, there's nothing on file that we can do. The town, again, there was a lot of nay support for it, when we had the public hearing over at the town hall. I remember that we filled that room with the public hearing, and there was a lot of leave us be. So, at this point in time, we don't have anything on file to assist with this, so.
Because they even got into the decibel levels and everything else.
Yeah, there was decibel levels and time and all kinds of stuff, so.
There's no end to a noise ordinance once you get one, I mean.
Right,
Yeah. Not-
so.
I'm not interested in going down that path.
I mean, that's the thing, if you don't like fireworks, you're not gonna like the guy that does fireworks 4th of July. And then there's people that abuse it, don't get me wrong, I'm not
Yep,
saying that
there's
this
absolutely
person
people that
doesn't
abuse it.
have a valid gripe, I don't think that we can go tell them, It's one of them things that kinda stinks, we're not gonna do nothing for them.
Right.
We can't. I apologize as board member, but I
Right.
don't know what to do about it.
Right.
If they're not being safe about it and they feel like it's a danger, then I
Mhm.
think keep calling the police till,
Right. Yeah.
with your concerns, I guess.
Right.
Anybody can add an article to the warrant.
Yeah, with petition
I
article.
really feel like it.
Petition article,
See how
yeah.
the town feels.
25,
but,
25 signatures gets it
yeah.
done,
I wouldn't bet on it.
so. Yeah, probably not, it probably wouldn't pass even on, as a petition article. I don't feel anyways, but could be wrong. Been known to be wrong before, so. Any other correspondence?
So we're just gonna briefly discuss, not read it, right?
Say again?
We're gonna briefly discuss it,
Oh,
not
yeah.
read it.
Correspondence?
Read it?
Is
No,
this
I'm not gonna
other
read it.
business, or?
No, when, we read the last one because they asked, but this one.
Oh, no. No, right. Yeah, we're not gonna read this email out loud.
Okay.
No, no. I didn't plan on it, so.
No, I just.
No, it's a good question, because, yeah, the other one asked.
Yep, so, all right, other business?
Yeah, I guess we had, and so what I've done in the past is people come up talking public comment, and then we just let them talk.
Mhm.
And then if there are things I think need addressing, I'll bring them up in other business. Now we're sitting here, exhausted.
Now's the time.
Okay, so, because I'm gonna do it right now, but I think it may also be worth mentioning at some point, should we, when everybody was sitting here, wondering what their answers were, actually talk to people. So we did hear.
Well, I guess we've, I'll give a little history on that. We've gone back and forth with that, to the point of, do we engage or do we not engage? And
Now it's a can of worms.
it's a can of worms because you engage and then it becomes a two-way, communication line, right? And then how far does it go? Do you limit the, I don't want to call it rebuttal, but the answer period
Discussion.
to 2 minutes, 3 minutes? I mean, obviously, we had a room here for the fire chief, the interim fire chief. We had a room here for all the police people. We had a room here for Mr. Cochran. We had a lot of people here, right? So where is that line? And that was where the board, and as long as I've sat on it, it's been a back and forth. What do we do? Do we not even allow public comment? Because that's our right not to allow public comment. I don't feel that's proper. I feel the public should be able to speak. But is it the right time to, if you don't have, if it's a yes or no answer, and it's very clear, and you can say, yes, I think that's proper, I'll say. If it's something that's going to engage in a 10-minute explanation back and forth, is that the proper place in the schedule to do it? I don't know.
No, I think it's fair. I'm not
the board,
saying we should,
The
but-
board has gone back to say no. The previous boards have gone to say no, it's not the appropriate time. And the other thing is too, is with public comment, you don't know what's coming, right?
Yep.
So it's, I don't want to say we're blindsided, but we don't know what the question's gonna be. So to say it off the cuff may not be the right idea either.
Yeah.
And that was a topic we've discussed at this board level of, give us a week, give us till the next meeting to respond to these questions, comments, concerns, et cetera. So, I don't want to say do some research, but we can make sure that what we say is on the up.
Yeah.
You know, and
I
it's
think,
proper.
no, that's totally fair. I think the one that is an outlier for me would be Dave and Jackie Pratt. We get the emails, and it was since last week, I'm going back to the notes I took when they just spoke, April 26th was since our last meeting. And, she called us out saying this board is hanging them out to dry, or not answering all of their questions. And that's, we haven't sat down and had a meeting because we cannot make decisions outside of these meetings.
Correct.
And so this board has not made that decision. That action did occur where town council responded and said, and I'm saying this because they already told everybody, said you should talk to your lawyer if you want more info. But it was before me. I guess I'm also curious why it was sent to their lawyer, costing them money.
Now, I'm no legal person at all, but I would think that with that, I would think that if their lawyer was looking for a paycheck, that they would reach out and say, hey, I have a document here, do you want me to weigh in on it? That the lawyer's office would contact the Pratts. I'm not, again, familiar on how that process works.
But the path that happened was, they asked the town a question.
December
The town
5th.
did not respond. The town went to town council. Town council went to their lawyer, which cost them money. So they thought they were just asking the town a question, and then the town cost them money. So I would be upset.
See, I don't know how that all transpired.
Yeah, they came December 5th. Just
No, I remember that. No, I do remember that. They asked questions, and we did say we would get back to them at that time. As, you know,
And we discussed it.
we discussed, exactly, we did, I remember discussing
We
it.
discussed it.
And we were gonna have
that-
Laura.
And the reason, and I believe it was in my reply, was there was a lawyer involved back in December. So I've always been taught, once they lawyered up, it's really not my discussion. The
Yeah,
two lawyers
we don't want them to
talked.
speak.
Okay.
That was just my thought, and that's why, when we discussed it,
Mhm.
I was asked to forward it in December to her, or
Right.
January, because of that.
To legal. This board asked you to forward that.
Yes,
Yes,
I didn't do it myself.
right. No, well, not this board, but the
Sure.
board. The board did.
Yeah.
So, how it got back from us to them to cost that money, that I don't
Well,
exactly.
no, because if you look in the response, she included, our lawyer included their lawyer.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah, and I guess
If you
they're,
look in the response, yeah, it came to board members, myself, Tony, and their lawyer. That was the carbon.
from
So
the
that's-
original request.
Well, so there was an original request. I'm sorry, I don't like to do it on my phone because I'm terrible at it, so. The original request was asked to send it to her, and then there was no follow-up. And then as they indicated, when the follow-up went to the town council and me, said she was out of the office till April 18th.
I do remember that.
On return, she replied just recently, on April 28th at 2:30 is when our lawyer replied, but carboned the board, Tony, myself, and their lawyer on the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd been contacted through us to them, our lawyer to their lawyer, and obviously it's a billable, but was the understanding that the board asked me to send it, because there was counsel on their side too.
Yeah, I remember the board did ask us, the questions be forwarded to legal. I do remember that.
Okay, so they're clearly upset, and that's,
That's understandable.
there is a question that they are still looking for the answer to. Well, I guess you're saying that is the answer to their question. Why was it sent to town council? Because this board voted to do so in January.
Well, we voted to ask our lawyer. We didn't tell our lawyer to send them information.
I don't have like I said, I don't have the dates, I have to bounce between both email
Right,
things.
yeah, she'd have to, yeah.
But I was directed to send it.
Correct, yeah. This board directed to send it to our legal for an opinion on the 5 questions.
Okay. But I guess if we did that as a board, I'd expect that to come back to us. If we ask, hey, what's your opinion of this, it would come back to us and not go to that person's lawyer and cost them
Right.
money.
I would,
Yeah, I know, that's
would
what I
think-
don't get. Why
I would
the-
think to agree. Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I would lean to agree.
So in answer to that question, that was an action the board took, but maybe shouldn't have. Or,
Should've come
no,
back here
no,
first.
more correctly. It's an
With-
action the
with
board
more dis-
took,
With more direction.
more specificity to
Should have
town
more
council.
direction.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's a more accurate statement. It should
Okay.
have more direction.
So at this point, if they don't feel whole, their recourse is
Sue the town.
to talk to their lawyer, sue the town, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay.
Again, I'm a mechanic, not a
Well,
lawyer.
speaking of suing the town, we had a resident
Mhm.
who's still sitting here.
Yep.
He said, specifically, I'm asking the Board of Selectmen to inform the town's attorney that she is engaged in defense of a lawsuit that the Board of Selectmen has never legally authorized, and ask her to withdraw from it until and unless legally authorized. Asking the board to inform the town's attorney, so what's the current state of that lawsuit?
I would have to lean to either Naomi.
My understanding is that it's for a rehearing, and I believe, I don't have the deadlines, but she was working on a reply to the rehearing request.
So let me ask you
I don't
this.
have all the terms for.
Would it be prudent for Naomi, via the board, to ask our town council for an update to that question? For her to provide the board with an update to that question?
Well, I think this is a question of us saying, given all of this, I don't think you should be defending at all.
Which, I'm not trying to discredit this at all, but there's two sides to every story.
Sure.
Correct? So I would want to hear our side as well, from our legal counsel, with maybe an email of, this is where we're at, this is what, and then we can decide once we see both sides of where we're at. We have Mr. Cochran's, and then we can have what the town has.
So, we're already talking to council in a week and a half, 2 weeks?
Different one.
That's labor
Yeah.
council,
We
yeah.
have a labor one and we have a regular one.
Right,
Two different firms.
right. So I think it wouldn't be off the mark to ask for, A, an update, and B, that be addressed in a response to this board,
Yeah.
right?
Because that's another one. I'd love to know how much this is costing the town. That's
Yeah, and
what other
that's-
people have asked.
And that's perfectly fine. I think that's prudent.
So you're saying to send the document, ask her what, an update of where it is, just back to you?
And for more so, the answer to the question, that's on there.
Well, this doesn't have a question that council
Well,
would answer.
it's to the board, right?
And it's asking us to take an action, which the town council cannot take.
That's correct. But again, with the background, the history,
No,
the
I'm not
longevity.
I'm saying, I don't think there's not a question to forward to her. We need to come up with our own question.
And that's fine, but I think we should have the background, right? I think we should have the background.
Sure.
But to make an educated decision on
Yeah, I'm just saying,
direction.
we can't say, oh, forward this to her and ask the question, because. we
That's
can't.
fine.
So
But it
I would say,
spans, according to the timeline, 5 years.
Right.
It's a 5-year span, almost 5 years.
That
October of 18.
that she's been involved with since.
that's a lot of money then.
So,
Do we have a clue what it's cost us so far?
Yeah, that's.
well, that's,
We'd have to ask Beth to break it down.
Beth on that one,
We can
yeah.
do that.
yeah, because she would break it down per,
Yeah, we'll know.
Per
it's
year,
gonna
per
require-
per case, per year.
Yeah, it's gonna require pulling the bills,
Right,
Yeah,
because you have other things that go on.
right.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
pulling the bills that.
They're itemized.
And that is the other thing she does too, is when they're on one topic, it will say, 0.25 hours, whatever the topic is, and then if they move off of that
Yeah,
topic,
the bill is-
It's
same
another
pho-
bill.
detail.
same phone call, it'll say 0.25 hours subject to, whatever. So at least you can break it down that way.
But it would take
But it's gonna take,
18s, 19s,
Yeah.
20s, 21s, 22s, 23s.
Right. So it's gonna
It
take a
would
little,
take the finance.
take a little time to
director
come up with that
find
number.
all that.
Not saying we shouldn't, but it'd take a little time to come up with it.
And some of it would be via a different law firm.
Correct. So. The answer could be gathered, but it wouldn't be in a week, right? Because it's literally 5 years that they have to go through every single month of,
Sure.
plus a day-to-day. So, it could be obtained, yes. I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but it'd take a little bit.
And you're saying that would be a Beth question.
That's a Beth question.
Okay. Okay, let me make sure we got our ducks in a row here. Yeah, so what are we gonna ask? What are we gonna ask council?
Well, you wanna ask council where we're at, right, as far as all of the timeline and all the you know, I'm, again, not discrediting what's on there at all, just make sure that our side is exactly the same as that side, and then see where we're.
I don't think it's unfair to, at the same time, ask, hold off on moving this forward.
Moving what forward?
A defense. Like, we want to get our ducks in a row.
But if you had a time limit and she's already got 90% of it done, you're gonna have her stop it, and then we're not gonna get the time limit. We only have a certain amount of days to do a response to the judge.
And I sure as hell don't want to be held in contempt. Same.
And maybe it's already filed, I don't know without asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to ask.
I don't know what the deadline was.
We'd have to look.
So if we ask where we are with this case, that
Yeah.
would basically give you where we are, right?
And then you could also get the background on it.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's
And then-
fair. Because-
and
And
then
then
we
what I'm
could
trying to look ahead to, we're gonna get that answer back, and then how do we appropriately address this? Is it worth? I guess we'll know when we get the response.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll get the response, and then even at the next meeting, we could just take a vote.
Yeah,
If needed.
I think that would be fair, to have the answer that we solicited from the lawyer, and
Which is where are we at,
where are we at?
basically.
Where'd we come from with a quick, you know, with the Reader's Digest version? Where are we at? And then we'll know, do we make a decision? But we'll be informed, his
Would-
side
yeah,
and our side.
Would you allow me to ask Travis if there's anything, when we're putting this together, is he sitting there like, you're a bunch of dummies, you're gonna miss something obvious, it's gonna cost us another 4 weeks?
I mean, if the board wants to recognize Travis for a minute or two, we can. It's up to the board.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
I move that we recognize Travis Corcoran.
So, first of all, I take absolutely no offense in your phrasing of we need both sides. That's prudent and that's the right approach. I think that asking for billing is correct, asking where are we at is correct, but the specific thing that my document and speech calls for would result in the question of, can you tell us when we authorized this? What set of minutes in what public or non-public session? And that's also something, you can certainly ask her, but it's also something you can just go through the minutes yourself. I've done that, it doesn't take too long. And whenever the board goes into non-public session on the minutes, it specifically calls out RSA 91A, Section 2, Clause, C is organized labor or labor, Clause D. It is Clause L, which I believe, which is defensive lawsuit. So you can just flip through in about 10 minutes and see if the board has ever done that with regards to this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say, is L a new one? I thought it was E for legal.
I believe
No, it's- both I've got it here.
I've
Yeah.
got it actually in this document. I can find it.
E is also about litigation.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
E is litigation, yeah. That's
So-
probably what we would have gone under
Yeah,
was
I'm
E.
more familiar with E.
Yeah,
Sorry.
would have been E. Yeah, that's what we would have gone under. Like I say, L didn't sound familiar. I didn't remember that one.
And so the gentleman that first started with us on it is deceased.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was started at.
And that's where Travis was talking about two different councils.
If I may, the initial lawyer is alive. He signed as the primary on all of the paperwork. His father, also an attorney, retired, was brought in as a guest in the court case. He passed away, but
So was Chris.
yes, Chris Drescher is the attorney, and he's still alive.
All right.
He's
Okay.
he's at Grand Island or something, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So we have the questions, where are we as far as the town is
Where are
concerned?
we?
And
When it was authorized.
when was this authorized? Okay. And then,
And do you want the Reader's Digest is what I wrote down?
I think we should. I don't think it's gonna hurt any of
Yeah,
us.
that'd
Bring
be
us back
great.
up to speed.
Just 3 questions.
Yep.
You had also mentioned billing.
That's
that's
a
to Beth.
Yeah, that's Beth.
Yeah.
And then Naomi, I wanted to ask if you want to respond to any of what you were mentioned in this document. Okay. Just while it's.
I'm gonna reserve my,
Okay.
because there's two sides to every story.
Sure. That's, didn't know if you had some extra info that's not in here. Okay.
No,
Alright.
I get thrown into it halfway through. You know, there's a whole bunch of information.
Then going through my asterisks, Frank Campana asked about how can he get copies of the MOUs from the police? Well,
I was gonna call him in the morning.
okay, great.
Again, I'll just leave that alone.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as long as, same thing, as long as we respond to the citizen in some way.
Yeah.
Paul Gannon, how much are we spending on, we didn't ask Jason that directly. How much are we spending on?
Trap and
the-
Diva.
Yeah, well, we're just
No,
dealing with it at all.
Dealing with, yeah, the whole thing.
Dealing with
The Duck
game?
Pond Beaver Dam.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just our hourly
Yeah.
employees going out
I
there.
don't think they break down,
Yeah.
Vince, you guys never broke
Probably,
down.
probably a couple hours out
It's
there.
it's not much, and getting it dealt with properly is the right thing to do.
Right. But to go out there with the backhoe with the thumb is probably, what, a couple hours?
It was said in the very beginning when I asked the state to stop doing it, that if there was ever a problem, that they would deal with it. Of course, that never happened, so it fell in town.
Right, falls in town.
That's by the same people that are upset that we're dealing with it, so. But, anyway.
Did it cost the town money when the state dealt with it?
No.
No, they just went out by hand every day, but they were, at any rate, they didn't want any water let out, so. I think it's, over time's cost, it's gonna cost town to trap beavers and stuff out of there, so we gotta deal with it now.
Right, and I think if
I
probably
see it
one-
like 10, 15 minutes a day at the backhoe, and I don't.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a cost, of course there is, but.
Right.
I don't know.
But
if
what it
they
is,
put a
dollars and
dollar
cents, I
amount
don't
on
know, a couple hours on a labor crew and diesel fuel.
What has cost the
A
town money.
couple times a year?
Oh, no, once a
month?
week anyway.
Once a week.
Yeah.
What has cost the town money is when we didn't deal with it and couldn't deal with it for a while, when we get a big gully washer like we did last night and whole dam blow out and wash Duck Pond Road out.
Yeah, Wash Duck Pond, took the dam out and
It came out
in
on
Moody
Sunday
Pond,
twice, yeah.
and that would also lower the fire pipe
Yeah.
to a usable level of naught.
But I guess to answer Paul Gannon's question, I don't believe, I know that there isn't a dollar amount we know about.
Negligible. But that's, yeah.
Okay.
We don't know that number, I guess.
We don't know the number, but it's probably negligible in the big scheme.
Well, we just,
It is a pain to the
It's a pain,
DPW.
it's a pain, but
Did we, speaking of lawyers, did we ever spend money on this 706 Reservoir Drive? Did we have a lawyer involved in that?
she was told not to do anything.
yeah.
We stopped, we dropped.
I know you stopped it, but
Previously, no.
previously to that?
We can look.
Yeah.
No, I don't
I'm just
remember.
curious.
I don't remember ever discussing legal and that together.
Yeah.
You guys look at the bills and sign them, I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
But I don't
Look at
remember,
them.
Well, I wasn't here during December and
right,
January, so.
I don't remember discussing it legal, no.
I was curious
She
about
was
that
told
too.
to stop and drop,
And
and
we did.
she's done that,
We did, so,
because we weren't pursuing anything more.
Right.
That was discussed here.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, that goes back to the same conversation of what.
Policy.
Yeah, what are we gonna, yeah, how will this board interact with council?
yeah, and I've got that as a
Yeah.
work session topic, because I think it's legit, 100%.
Yeah.
Right, it's a line item that we control.
Yep.
We control the budget, but specifically, that's our line item, not the department heads or something like that, so.
That's what I had.
There's actually one more that we have to discuss, and I don't know the answer to, is the moving town meeting to May 7th. I don't think that's just something that you do, I think it has to
I think
go-
that's a town vote,
I
isn't
think
it?
that has to go to town vote.
I think that's
because
go town vote.
That changes a lot of things.
That sounds like a town vote, right, right,
It's nice that we coordinate because we share the school, but I
Right.
think we both would have to put it on the ballot.
right.
There'd be pros and cons to that till the cows come home.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's always been in March. so.
Yeah, but again, do I disagree with it? No. Do I agree with it? Whatever, but again, I think
I just don't know what the next budgeting has to do with, because your calendar year now, and now you're waiting almost 6 months.
it's 2 months
to
of
get a budget
in the line,
approved.
Two
right?
more months of Ricky.
You're what? No, no, not happening.
So I think
Bids like Jay's
gonna-
plow truck, his first thing came to mind was not dealing
Right,
with snowstorms
yeah,
in
the-
March. I love the idea. And then the second thing was Jay getting up presenting a plow truck
that late in the year.
Paving is the big thing. First,
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
we could plan it 3 or 4 years out or something, to start.
But you can't really plan the cost.
be worth having a
But
huge
if it's-
con,
but
it'd be a
if it's
big
money
con.
going into a fund, you're like, we're gonna, over the next 3 or 4 years, do a little bit extra to get us over that.
That's dependent,
2-month hump.
that's dependent on the town vote, though.
Yeah.
It could go down in flames one year, not to say it would, but then what do you do with the contractor?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Oh,
that
you're,
we could,
you're
we could
talking
do an
making,
initial vote.
making
that
a
says,
warrant article that says every
Let's-
year for 5 years we
Yeah,
drop
like,
money.
we're gonna move
Oh,
the date contingent on doing this to the budget until that date,
Okay.
like to
There
cover,
are
to cover that
communities
gap.
that have gone to try to do with the school, that have gone to July to June. And then you have to budget for 18 months that first year
Right.
Right.
It's-
to get on the same.
It wouldn't be
path as
horribly
the school.
difficult, but, yeah.
And I don't know if those are calendar, if the May meeting, I just,
There's a lot of moving
my
parts
gut
to that.
tells me that it doesn't just stand up and say it.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving
There's
parts
a
to
lot
that.
of moving parts to that, which I'm not gonna ask until I'm told to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you just make that motion yourselves.
Is that
That's
something?
a huge change.
That's a huge change, yeah.
Is
That's,
that, and I'm not saying we should, again, but is that, because you mentioned a listserv earlier, can you just like reach out and say, hey, other towns that have done this,
Yeah,
was
that's
it
how I get a
horrible?
lot of the
Yeah.
things.
yeah. Mhm.
If they have them readily available, that's how I get your
I mean, that'd be
police
great.
chief things, that's how I got.
Would it be prudent to put if they have, council policy on
Yeah, that's a
listserv?
good idea.
On listserv as well?
Okay.
See if we get anything back for that in a week. And probably, while you got listserv wide open,
Yeah.
building inspector,
Oh, yeah.
job description. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, the other thing is, there may be there may be other towns that have a policy on that, on the minutes that were
Yep, how do they?
non-public
how do they-
minutes.
Oh, unseal them,
Yeah,
unseal
it's
them.
I'm sure other towns have that.
Yeah, so basically, the listserv, as you know, is all 214 people.
Mhm.
So you send a question out on the listserv, and you don't get 214 answers back, because there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
don't answer.
Yeah,
But
you-
there's a lot, I mean, and I miss him,
Yeah, but
is
pe-
Bill Herman.
Yeah.
Bill Herman could reply to everything you ever sent out, and he always had found something in Auburn that they had it, even if it was outdated, he told you about it. But
Yeah.
those are far and few between, because there's a lot of them retiring. I
If you
mean, there's a
if you get
ton.
3 to 6 responses, you're doing well.
Well, the solid waste, I might have given you 5,
Yeah.
but even 5 is better
That's,
than none.
yeah.
Like you said, it gives you points and stuff like that you can look at.
3 to 5.
And it's different populations,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I
Close
think-
to, but different.
And some
Yeah.
of them are, those are much newer than the job descriptions, I think, for the police department.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty
I would
new.
agree, yeah.
But there's various town sizes too, like Francis Town's there, that's tiny.
Tiny.
Yep.
Even though it's a neighbor,
Mhm.
you know, Guilford's there, Guilford's roughly the same size as we are.
Right.
Belmont is there.
I
think
Hampton
it's-
Falls.
Hampton Falls. So, yeah, I mean, I can throw it out, worst case is
You get
I'll
nothing
show you
back.
all my responses,
Yeah.
but if I don't get a response, I don't know. But I will ask for the May town meeting, the building inspector, the non-public policy, and the, council policy. Is that what you want?
I think so. Yeah, that'd be great. If we get anything back on those, I think we'd be in good shape.
Yeah, so when Benji too is, I don't know if Jason signed up for it, so Benji's group has a public works listserv too.
Mm-hmm.
And you can ask, you know, when Jay or anybody, you can ask a question to them too. The tax collector has one, the town clerk has one, it's just association of all your.
Well, it's handy, right? Because
Well,
there's, you know,
there's no reason to reinvent the wheel.
right, it
A lot of
saves time, money, you know,
Yeah.
everybody's working together, so. May not agree with it, but at least you get an idea, so.
And then, your work session, are you hit that
Yep,
one
so
yet?
I get, on the work session, we're gonna finalize DPW director's
Yep.
job description.
Yep.
We're gonna discuss legal counsel policy, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And then building inspector job description / ad.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one, so you're gonna leave,
We're gonna table the PD for now, I think. Like you said, I think we've got bigger fish to fry than.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last week, we talked about doing the minutes next week.
Yeah.
Reviewing
The NC.
sealed minutes.
the policy runs.
That's
the minutes.
policy.
Policy for that, yeah, we can
Oh, well, you
discuss
just
policy.
said town
but-
council.
I did say town council, but we can also review a policy for,
And then the other
Minutes.
thing, you're gonna swear in a PD, he asked.
yeah, we'll do that
And then
first
the other
thing.
thing is, I think you brought it up last week, and Benji was in on the planning board meeting, was to discuss the invest in
Yes.
H grant, which
Yep.
I think I shared with all of you.
We can do that.
You guys had all the questions, you had,
Yeah.
nothing's
and
been
you-
signed.
And you printed it off for us, I saw.
Did I print them all? Yeah, I must
Yeah,
have.
you did.
I tried to give you so you don't have to use your own ink.
Yeah.
So you got them in
So-
order, because I feel like that's more than we're gonna do in a work session.
Yeah, that's,
2 hour, that's a big 2 hour time crunch.
oh, it is, yeah.
We'll do what you can do.
Oh, we do what
I
we
feel
do.
like the place we are, the building inspector, we oughta, and we're as close as we are DPW, we oughta
Right.
kinda hike that up.
Yeah, probably.
That's my own preference.
Yeah.
I still need to send out the DPW updated one, but that should be a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
'Cause this
Pretty
will be
much,
draft
yeah.
three.
Yeah. Yep. So,
Cause building's ramping up.
yeah, no, I think we do the swearing, and then we do probably the building inspector.
All right, so you want swearing first,
Mm-hmm.
building inspector second.
Yep.
Like Sam just said, the building inspector, the DPW should be done.
Well, all right, so then make DPW second, I guess.
Well,
Well, yeah.
and then third.
Third,
and then
building inspector.
We'll put on the new policies and discuss invest in H grant, because I think the planning board honestly kicked it down till June
Yep.
to get
Yeah.
this done.
Yeah, I watched the video.
So do we
They-
want
They
to,
didn't seem in a huge hurry.
do we want to push that off then? I think we should, if that's the case, maybe we push it off this work session.
Yeah.
What day
Yeah.
is that? I only put 2 days on my calendar.
I just don't see
5/22?
us getting too little.
Yeah, so we're gonna push that,
Invest in
Planning
H
board thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna push that off to the next work session.
to be the 22nd.
Yeah.
The chief, I just table, or do you want me to just keep it
We'll
on
just
my
table
tab?
that, I think.
Table
We'll
it for
table it
now.
for now.
Okay. Do you still want an answer?
Yes. I think that'd be a brief
So
5-minute
let's-
discussion,
Let's
right?
say you're gonna table it.
Yep.
And when you're here on the 18th, that's the guy you need to ask.
Yeah, absolutely.
When
Yeah.
the attorney's here on the 18th with
Yep.
the CBA, he's the one to ask.
Yes.
So we'll leave that alone.
Yep.
18th, ask. Okay. Grant. That's the 22nd, then the 29th you're not meeting, that's a holiday.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
Memorial Day.
Okay, then you would be back.
We did Thursday?
What'd you say?
He was kidding.
Say that too loud, I'll see the fire from here, from your house.
It'll be a glow in the
It'd be a glow from somebody over there.
glow
Yeah.
on Duck Pond Road.
So, all right, anything else for the board? I think we've set the work
Oh,
schedule.
sorry.
Whoa, hey, whoa.
Oh my goodness, almost missed it. So Naomi's doing a very good job of getting the minutes out within 5 business days.
Other than the 17th?
I guess so, yeah.
No, the 17th, that was
But-
when I was gone.
Okay, but they also include non-public sections, which are required within 72 hours.
Okay.
So we just gotta tighten the screws a little bit, because I've been,
Then we need to talk about somebody else.
Yeah, we need a minute
yeah,
taker.
for
We need a
sure.
minute taker. I mean,
Yeah.
it's no,
This is insane.
Well, the minute,
Yeah.
the,
I spend
yeah,
all weekend and I'm not doing that.
no.
And then I guess I'm just gonna share. Right to know, answer one back, I get another one. I'm up to 6 for
Yeah.
somebody.
Answer one, get two back.
You know,
I swear,
there's just not enough time.
No, there
And
isn't.
then there's complaints that I don't get to people. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, she's only one
I'm
person.
one person.
She's only
and
one person,
I'm
right.
giving up my weekends to do your minutes,
Right.
to
So,
try to keep us in pace, as well as try to have a normal life.
yeah. So I think we need to, well, I know we need to discuss minute taker, and we've talked about that.
We tried to before,
yeah.
you know.
Do we still have that one that you and I were talking about in the pipe?
She's still interested.
All right, then
but it's just,
I think we put that as a work session, topic number 4.
wait a minute, you have more than 4.
No, I know that. I'm saying put it in priority line number 4, which would be the swear-in, DPW, building inspector, minute taker.
and what do you wanna discuss at that point? Because I think we all agree that we want one.
Gotta advertise.
We gotta advertise.
Gotta
it.
come up with an amount, though.
Can you
'Cause what
list, can
paid
you
before-
list serve that one too?
What's that?
Can you list serve that one too?
Well,
I might have some old ones from that.
I think there's a fiscal commitment to that, right? And we have the lines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the lines to take it, so we just gotta figure out what we're gonna do.
And it's a price per meeting.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's what most everybody does.
Yeah, it's a flat rate per
It's a
meet.
flat rate, and,
Yeah.
and what happens in the flat rate is, it's a flat rate per meeting, the meeting could be 2 hours, it could be 6 hours.
All right.
And
so-
then the same thing happens though, if you hire this person to do planning board and ZBA, and there's no planning board.
Yeah.
You still should offer something, because she's keeping that date
On
aside to be
retainer,
available.
right, on retainer.
Right, so whether it's half,
All right, so let me rephrase that. Can we just put can we just put an ad out?
Yeah.
Just put an ad out. And see if, I mean, I don't know what the money's gonna be, but I'm sure if,
I don't
you know,
have it.
I wanna say, not that we don't have the money, I don't wanna lock us to an amount.
Yeah.
If they can come in and say, well, I would charge this, but at least we'll get some interest in, get some applications in.
I've tried to find somebody, and, you know, we had a good one before.
Oh, yeah.
She was part of an old law firm and
Yep.
a legal paralegal, and she did a really nice job.
Yeah,
And then she moved on.
right,
And then
yeah. So I think,
it's
yeah. So you just wanna put the ad out?
a nature.
Yeah, well,
Well,
we
if
can't
I-
without a
wait
dollar
minute, though.
amount.
I'm not gonna put the ad out, because you're gonna have to have so they're gonna call me and say how much.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think we have to talk about it first.
all right, so do we still wanna talk about number 4?
So,
Yeah.
well, Beth had,
Yeah.
she had it in a proposal for us, and she gave us 2 items. I don't remember what the first one was. We did not talk about it.
Right.
So I think we'd want
It
to
was a
involve.
memo, and the bottom half had to do
Oh,
with the minute
the
taker.
top half was when we did library DPW raises.
Yes.
With the leftover amount.
Oh, yeah.
She
From the
said, I was gonna
5%.
get to the bottom one, and we
Yeah.
said not tonight.
Yeah, and we haven't
Oh,
got back to it.
all right.
So
Let's
she,
go to it.
yeah, she's gonna want to be involved, is what I'm saying when we're scheduling and whatever.
Okay, that's fine.
But I would, again, I mean, there's a lot that gets flung on my plate, and as
Yeah.
to why and what.
Yeah,
goes
no,
on.
it's,
So I'm not gonna.
she's only one person, let's all be real here.
I'm not gonna put an ad out without you guys agreeing to a dollar, because when they
Okay.
call me, I'm gonna say, well, geez, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
So can
No
we
one's gonna
do
apply with an unknown.
2 weeks and get Beth here during,
The regular meeting?
yeah,
Does that seem
just put it on the agenda?
viable?
Or would it be as easy to have her on the work session?
Yeah, wouldn't it be just as easy
Yeah,
to bring her in
might
on the
be
work
easy.
session?
But when you're putting it forth,
Yeah.
Or
Make it two,
make
might
it
not get
third,
two.
make it third then, right?
Wait,
I think while we're looking for a dollar amount, we could put her first, be 5 minutes, she's gonna tell us what it is, right?
Yeah.
we have it on a piece of paper.
But we're gonna wanna hear her discuss it, so.
But, yeah,
All right,
doesn't
so,
matter.
so.
Put her on number 1.
So what we think, no, we got to swear in at 6:30.
Oh,
So swear in at 6:30, then do we wanna do the minute taker with Beth?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't wanna hold her up if she's. gonna-
okay, and then we'll do the DPW,
Yep.
Yep,
and then we'll do the building inspector.
yeah.
Okay. I'm good with that.
I'm good.
So the
Right.
minutes and
Now you
whatnot
get-
are
Now you get arrows and
falling off
scribbles.
the table?
I just only have.
Huh?
so much.
Policy stuff's falling off the table?
Well,
Well, we can,
it's whack-a-mole, right?
Yeah.
It's whack-a-mole,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I'm not saying it's off the table, but it's whack-a-mole. You gotta fix what we get. I'm not saying that's not a problem, because it is, but,
So what if I commit
So can
to
I-
doing a first draft, like we see with the job descriptions or whatever?
Yeah, I'm
Like
good with
Kevin-
that.
I think Kevin put one together. at
Yeah.
one point.
yeah,
Like,
I would be okay
At
with
least
that.
do a read-through next week.
I'd be okay with that,
Of what's that?
of a legal counsel policy.
Yeah.
If he wants to take a swing at it.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you email it, like,
Yeah, for sure.
over the weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, certainly before Monday.
Yeah, and that way we can take a glance at it and maybe axe it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Not saying we're going to, but I hope we do.
That was something else I learned from Travis's document. I'd have to find it again. But like, we are allowed to communicate about drafts. Like when we're kicking around draft documents.
One-on-one, yes. But if it's board members, that's a meeting. Because everybody's involved.
My eyes are glazing over, but I swear I read it in here. I'm not good.
If you and I wanted to talk about it, that'd be okay. And you wanted to bounce things off of me via email and back and forth, that'd be okay. But as soon as we get Sherry involved, there's 3 of us, that's a quorum. And there's,
I feel like there were exceptions. That's.
no. That's considered a meeting, it has to be posted. Because there's a quorum of members involved talking about town business.
Okay, I swear I saw it somewhere.
I don't think it's in there, I think.
Okay, yeah, you'd know better than I do.
The eye glaze is getting deep.
Okay.
So, all right, anything else? We got everything set for next Monday?
I have a question.
Maybe.
It's 10, and mine just wait. So, the part I do and the beginning of the minutes, that has to be done first, is what you're saying, within 72 hours.
72 hours of, I guess, coming out,
Non-public?
non-public, yeah. Non-public is 72 hours. It's not 3 days, it's not five. Yeah.
Because the other is 5 business days.
Yeah, and, I mean, you've always got a good summary. I would just kick it out.
Okay. Even if I continue
It's
from that?
goofy to have them separate,
It is goofy.
but that's
'cause
what
it's
the
another
law
set of
says.
minutes.
And
But
it-
if I kick out the first
Well-
section and,
I think we're gonna end up there anyway, because the minute taker would not be part of non-public.
No.
So you'd still be doing that.
Yeah.
So if we go ahead and split them up.
yep, true,
then-
okay. Because I can kick out the first half within
Yeah.
amount of time, but I just thought it was goofy to name it the same file.
Like 3 times.
add-
Depends on how many times
Add
you
to the
have.
bottom of it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think,
Well,
I think that's the
Okay.
shortest path
Yeah.
to getting you
I get you.
Relief.
sane.
Okay.
Relief.
Okay.
Anything else?
No. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Oh, wow. Okay
Second.
then. Second. Moved, yes, aye.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We gotta do the shut off thing.
Shut the switch.